What up, everybody? Oh. So I got. Oh, hey, who turned on the Mickey button? There you go. Look at that's Mickey on the radio. There is working DX. All right, so I got an interesting factoid. This is just an assumption that I'm taking. I have a feeling that some of the reasons we're not seeing Steve post as a good game on YouTube is because of Dick Norton. I'll just say that. So if you're joining us on the after chat from our first stream, I don't know this for sure, so this is just me speculating a little bit here, but I think that's where that came from. I mentioned it in the last live stream, and I'm going to mention it again. Don't worry, this is the after chat where we answer your ham radio questions, particularly for newcomers, and we're going to answer your questions first before we get to all this. But AA7A is running for the Southwest Division or director position for the ARRL, and I'd like to see him win it. I'd like to see him replace Dick Norton. And that's part of the push and setting the record straight was to correct some of the inaccuracies that Dick has made about the Learning Teachers Institute, ARRL education, that was in the last live stream. So I hope you saw it. If you didn't, go back because you get to catch up with Steve and some of the great work he's already done and continues to do for bringing youth into the hobby, not just bringing them into the hobby immediately, but setting a path that they understand what amateur radio is, that it's a part of STEM and a vital part of STEM because radios are everywhere. And if you want to understand radios better, you should get your amateur radio license. So there's that. I will do something we haven't done before this live stream. We're going to join the after chat on the Discord. We're going to talk with the Discord for a while. Answer your questions live first and foremost. So if you haven't already joined us on the Discord, link is in the video description. We'll take your comments, take your questions live. And then I'm going to pull up one of Dick's talks. So thankfully, Randy recorded it for us. And we're gonna pull up some of the parts. Now, I'm going to have to jump around a little bit. I've never really done a live react live, so this is a completely different world for me, for all of us. We're going to be experiencing it together, but hopefully it'll be a little bit of fun, be a little bit illuminating. But yeah, let's hop into the Discord. Reminder, if you're joining Discord for the first time, there's a cooling off period for new users. You can go to hashtag live-stream on the left side of the bar on the server window, and that will show all the text chats for the Discord, for the live stream, everything that's going on. Then hashtag live-streams, right below it, that's the voice chat. So make sure you go into the settings and you set a microphone, your ears, your speakers, whatever. Headphones are preferred. And bind a PTT button, right, to your keyboard or whatever it is you're using. If you're on the phone, there's already a PTT button there. We require PTT because there's a lot of people in the chats. We need to have that for some radio discipline. So I'm going to hop in here and say hi to our friends, and then we're going to start taking your questions live. And yeah, got a good, hold on, people are still rolling in, so here we go. Let me join.
Like, VU60 is crazy if you were chasing it today.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hi, Josh.
Oh, everybody's so energetic today. How's it going, everybody?
Josh.
Whoa! How's it going, everybody? All right.
Hey, what's happening?
What's happening indeed? All right. So there's a lot of familiar faces in here, so I don't know that we've had enough time for the newcomers to join us. We'll see if we've got some folks that are new. But I will ask, just to kick things off, is there anybody on the Discord that's here for the first time that would like to say hi or ask a question? You get priority now. I didn't think so. Most of these people look very familiar to me, all these avatars I'm seeing.
I'm questionable, but I'll say hi anyway.
All right. How's it going, Jason? What have you been up to?
Oh, not a whole lot here. Just getting the shack reorganized and preparing for field day.
Yeah. So what are your field day plans?
Our club here actually operates a station. Usually it's a 5 radio station just about 2 blocks from my house.
Oh, wow.
So actually I'm gonna go out into a separate helipad at the local fairgrounds and set up a 40-meter dipole off the back of the truck.
I mean, you can just walk over. You don't even really have to drive, right?
Oh, exactly. But I want to have the 30-foot pole out the back of the truck.
There you go. There you go. Very good. Cool. Yeah. So what are you guys operating as? Is it a club?
Yeah, we'll be using the club call sign. We did last year, and we don't seriously go after everything, but it's more of a social event with dinner afterwards.
Right on, right on. There was a club meeting I went to, W6TRW. The person, actually, is he in the chat? I don't think he's in the chat. He might join us. Mark, Soda Plus. He did a talk on our plans for field day, which he has immaculate planning. It's amazing. But his comment was so funny to me. He's like, listen, field day isn't a contest, but I want to win it. It cracked me up so hard because it's totally true. It's not a contest. It doesn't matter who wins or loses. It's about how you play the game, but we want to win it. We want to be the one that's
And
at the
yet
top of
there's
the
a
list.
score.
And yet there's a score. Yeah, exactly. So we want to win it. That's what we're doing, right? There's nothing to win. You're technically not winning, but we'll be at the top of the list is what we're running for. So I think we're running 5 alpha QRP. So we're back to the QRP game, guys, because I'm telling you what. No, dude, it's the best way to win at field day. You know why, right? Levi, you know why?
No.
5x
That's more
multiplier.
than me. Oh. I mean,
every context
we're
5x
10
multiplier.
We're 10 alpha this year, so
We're 5 alpha, and every contact is times 5. So CW,
nice.
There you go, dude. Like, we got a full-time
man.
CW operator, full-time FT8, digital modes up the wazoo. Dude, QRP is where it's at. Because we never have to, there's always somebody to hunt with QRP. We're always chasing contacts. We never stop. It's awesome. We won the last 2 years, I think, in QRP 5 alpha.
Now, I know you said you had a bunch of stations. You guys running sats or not?
We are. Yeah, well, we're running SAT to get the points. You got to get the points.
Absolutely. But
You
but
don't.
It's not a contest.
Yeah. So the one thing about satellites, that's the one area like during field day is you do want to like free up the SAT so that other people can get their 100 points. Like that's true. We're not going to try and hog the satellites up. So whatever passes we can get on, we'll get our points. Plus they have
you
me.
Doing AMSAT field day, Josh?
What's that?
AMSAT field day?
No, W6TRW.
No, I was asking if you're participating with the AMSAT field day that's in conjunction with the ARRL field day.
I don't even know what that is. Can you link me to that? Can you
explain?
Give me a DM on that?
Yeah, so it's basically AMSAT satellite stuff. So they have a slightly different rule set than the ARRL for satellites, but a bunch of people, so you can operate on linear satellites, the FM satellites. Still just one contact per FM satellite, but the linear satellites, you can make as many contacts. So it's everyone trying to make as many contacts as they can, but just on satellites, same exchange, same everything. So they'll be operating as you would normally, but you'll submit your log to AMSAT. So
that almost flies in the face of what I said earlier, because on field day you kind of want to make your contact and get off the satellite so that everybody else can get their 100 points. So you're saying
that'd be so for FM satellites, it's the same thing. You want to get on and off quick.
Okay.
But for linear satellites, there's a lot more space.
Got it. The linears, yeah, got it. Okay.
Yes.
I love. Hopefully everybody understands what a linear is. It's got a wider frequency spread, and they are shifted off band. So if you if you go higher frequency on one, it shifts lower on you, and you monitor the both sides of the frequency space. So it's almost like a wide band cross band repeater, if that makes sense. Yeah.
I have a question.
Redstone Fred, how are you, sir? What's going on? Oh, we lost him.
I'm not Redstone Fred. It's a different guy.
Well, literally, that's your username, Redstone Fred.
Oh. I thought that was I didn't know that.
Hey, Redstone, how old are you, out of curiosity?
17.
Okay. You don't sound like you're 17, and Discord requires you to be, I think, at least 13? Yeah.
I actually am 17. You can look up my call sign. It's Kilo Romeo 4 Echo Foxtrot Zulu.
Kilo 4 Echo Romeo. What?
Kilo Romeo 4 Echo Foxtrot Zulu.
Oh, okay, got it. Thank you. Okay, what's going on, man? Let's keep going then.
I have a question about walking. Like, if you're on a walk, you have to say mobile when you're on walking.
Like when you're walking with a radio?
Like if you're on a long walk, because I go on walks with my radio.
No, you don't have to tell people you're walking. Only if you want to.
Because I go on walks and my repeater cuts out at times.
Well, that's possible. Yeah, depending on how far away you are from the repeater, that could be true. Yeah.
Also, I just got my ham license.
Well, congratulations. That's good for you. What radio are you running right now?
Just a basic Baofeng.
Okay. Right on. Right on. Very good. Okay. Any other questions for us?
Do you know about the Pelham Ham Radio Club? Do you think it's any good?
Which ham radio club?
Shelby County.
Shelby County. What state is that in? Because I'm not familiar.
Alabama.
I don't know about Shelby County. Is there anybody in the chat or on the live stream who knows about Shelby County Amateur Radio Club? I don't think we know.
Hey, sorry, had to unmute. Yeah, I've interacted with them before. They're pretty good.
Oh, have you really?
Yeah, they're. I live right across the state line to Mississippi, and we'd always go to Birmingham for a bunch of stuff. But yeah, if I remember correctly, they're a pretty decent club.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you contacted them? It was Kilo Romeo 4 Echo Foxtrot Zulu. Have you contacted them before? Are they doing field day?
I've been on there with Peter on a net one time.
Oh, cool. Well, ask them on their repeater if they're doing field day, and then come out and try and see what they're doing. Help them out. Maybe participate a little bit on their Get on the Air station.
Okay. Maybe I will someday.
Well, that's coming up. It's at the last weekend of the month.
The only thing is that with Peter, I get a ton of interference on at our location where I live.
Okay. So I think that might be more or less where you're standing with your radio. You might have to move out of the space a little bit. Try going on a walk away from some of that noise. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. You feel free to hang out. I'm going to go to the next question if you don't mind. Is there anybody else here for the first time that would like to say hi or ask a question? Come now. WTF Radio.
I'm just gonna leave, okay? I'm gonna leave now.
Oh, that's fine. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Take it easy. And he's gone. That was interesting. I don't know that he sounded 17. But okay. WTF Radio, he said he can't get off of mute. If you're on the PC side or a computer of some kind, make sure you're going into your settings and make sure you're setting a PTT button. We require PTT.
No, I had it. I just forgot I put myself on mute earlier.
All right, I gotcha. You got to bump that volume up big time. Can you bump up your mic audio? Oh.
How about now?
Way better. Keep going.
Okay. No, first time here as WTF Radio. I've actually talked to you before, Jason, like years ago when I first got tech.
I'm Josh.
Sorry, Josh. I know.
Was it me or was it Jason?
No, it was you. It was you.
Okay.
Which Jason? Was it Smart Jason or 2.0?
No, it was Josh who helped me with a WinLink issue I had.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Years
well, that's
ago.
probably me. That would not be the other Jasons. Yeah. Okay. Right on, man.
Yeah. So I started a YouTube channel back in the first part of this year. Somebody asked me to do a video about DV Switch, and it's kind of carried off from there.
Okay. Cool. How's it going? You doing well?
Yeah, I'm up to about 134 viewers right now. So,
nice. Are you live streaming right now? Viewers or subscribers? You mean?
Subscribers.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool.
So, yeah, that's pretty much my channel. And thanks for letting me come up here and say hi to everybody. And
yeah, did you have a question?
No question. Just saying hi to everybody.
All right, very good. Well, thanks for joining us. Now, I would like to point out Liberty Cave. I think both of the Jasons would say that they're probably on the shorter side. Both Jasons. So that's not a true delineator for KM4ACK and 2.0, right? So
yeah. It would be the tiny Texan.
Jesus.
And by the way, he does live out here around us. I'm talking about WTF Radio. He does live out here with Jason and Frank and
so he's
Michael and Paul. Yeah, right around here.
Okay, but he was asking me about wind links. That's interesting. He might have been on travel, or maybe you can tell us what it was. But yeah, good man. Well, you're in a good area for radio, so very good. All right, anybody else out here joining us that would like to say hi or ask a question? Come now. All right. I think you guys want to just get into the live reacts, it sounds like, maybe. Well, before we get there, because I don't know that I'm fully ready. Well, Frank, are you here, Frank? Oh, Frank is deafened and muted. Okay. Mark, he was here.
Yeah, he was here. He stepped out for a minute, I think, to get some food. He'll be back.
Oh, okay. All right.
I have a question, but I'm a second timer. Is that allowed?
It's allowed. Go for it.
Okay, it seems you're a little delayed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I talked to you a couple weeks ago, and I ended up with an ICOM 705 I picked up at CPAC, and then I also ordered a QMX that I'll get, someday. So anyway, I also stopped by the PAC-10 booth at CPAC in Oregon.
Nice.
And the only one they had left was the 9-to-1 mini random wire antenna, which is cool. It's it's great. I got that one.
It is, but you have a tuner?
Do you have a tuner?
Yeah, I do actually, but the other. But yeah, that's all they had left. But yes, I do have a tuner now.
Good.
But my question was, what would be another good portable antenna that I could just buy? I know I could build them, but I'm wondering if there would be a good recommendation for another one, because of course everyone is out everywhere because of Hemvention and also CPAC happening back to back.
Tierney, do you know the most important question when someone asks a question like that? Do you know what it is?
It depends.
No. In your case, it's what's your budget?
Oh yeah, okay.
So how much you want to spend on this antenna?
Well, it looks like $100. The PAC-10 was $100. I would get another one from them, but they're not in stock, so that's.
What could we do for $100? So I was thinking, I admit it, I'm a vertical antenna guy. Like I love those 17-foot verticals and the 25-foot verticals. Big fan. But for like $100, I don't think I can get you fully seated into one of those antennas.
I have good news then.
Okay.
I do have a 17-foot stainless steel telescoping whip, but I haven't figured out how to set it up yet.
Okay. All right, so we're part of the way there. All right, we can do this on the cheap and we can do this more expensively. And so let me pull up the websites here. Okay. So if we want to do it cheap, the way you do it cheap is you do vice grip antenna mount. So one of these guys, so check this out. Yeah, so this is usually like a CB guy kind of thing, right? But if you pull this up, it's the same thread pitch as your 7. What the heck was that? That's not what we want. Okay, let me go back here. Hold on, let me go back. Gabba, go back. Find one with the antenna mount on it is the trick. This one? Yeah, this one will do it. Okay, it's on Amazon. Of course, currently unavailable. All right, hold on. We'll find you something.
Yeah, I think the one in your store is currently unavailable. But
yeah, they sell out like instantly. Okay, so there you go. This thing is $37. I will drop a link. Let me drop a link here. Oh, maybe. Oh, no, it's not that one. Hold on. I have to switch for a second. So Okay, hold on. Oh no, it is the right one. That's weird. Oh, it was the right one. Never mind. All right. Dropping the link in Discord. So that is the antenna mount. And so what you would do with that, it sounds really dumb, but basically you take that as a starting point and you put the 17-foot whip on it. And you're half of the way there now, right? Because that is the center pin of the antenna. Your coax, you have coax? I'm assuming you have a coax line?
Yes, I have a few different.
Okay, cool. So it's got a coax connector on it. That center thread pitch area is where you'd put the whip, and then you got to add radials. So for me, I like the off of Amazon at least, the Sil Coat Wire 20 gauge would be fine. Oh, it did it again. So what I would do with these guys here is this silicone wire 100-foot black flexible is take the 100-foot and cut it into like 12-foot sections and then use like an automotive spade connector, like the kind you crimp, like the flat kind, the one that would go into like the receiver. And then all you do is you take whatever, like a park bench or whatever it was you're going to like clamp the whip onto, you just put the metal of the radial, the wires underneath that, and then there's your ground. And then you spread those wires out, and then that's all there is to it. It's that simple.
So wait, when you say you put the radials underneath it, just on the ground, or are they attached to the thing somehow?
Well, yeah, they have to be in the jaws of the vice grip. The
vice grip. Okay,
so
cool.
You take the bundle of wire and you put it on the jaw and then you clamp it down. Now, the costly bit of this, which is a part of this, that's true. Do you have an antenna analyzer by chance?
I do not.
Okay. So the only thing that would really amp this whole thing... Oh, wait, you have a 705, though. So you can do most of this with a 705.
Yeah, that's why I didn't get an antenna analyzer, because it seems like the machine will tell me.
Yeah, so you can get a nano VNA or you can upgrade to a more expensive analyzer, but you can use the 705's SWR feature when you key it up. Just make sure that you have to... Where do you live? Like, what state do you live in?
I live in Bend, Oregon.
Okay, you might be fine in Bend, Oregon. You're probably going to have to go all the way extended to do 20 meters. And then use the SWR feature to find out where that dip is. You're looking for the salad bowl on the frequency that you're going to be operating on. And that will tell you like if you're in the sweet spot for being able to effectively propagate.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you. Like, I feel like I was missing the part where the radials went, because I saw the vice grip thing and it was like, okay, I get the stainless steel.
Yes,
it was in there.
Yes.
So thank you.
So I'll show you. Actually, let's look up the automotive connectors. And there's probably a better way to do this, so anybody feel free to jump in and recommend something. But I'm going to show you what I mean.
Comment.
Go ahead, comment.
Alligator clips work better than spade connectors, in my opinion.
Yeah, so you can go to Harbor Freight and buy yourself one of those big fat alligator clips and then bundle like 4 of the radial wires, or as many as you can. Just shove them in there, those 12-footers. Shove them in there. Crimp them down really hard, maybe even solder a bit of it. And then you want to make sure that alligator clip makes a good connection on the metal of the wrench body. That's another good... Yeah, actually, do that. Go to Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight has a massive deal right now.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, actually.
Comment.
Go ahead, comment.
I was just going to say that that looks like it also has a hole for a bolt, so you could run a bullet connector on a pigtail off that bolt and have a quick disconnect there.
You could build it up. You can build it up lots of ways. Once you get your hands on it, you'll probably get a better understanding of what you can do.
Comment.
Go ahead, comment.
For sourcing the clamp, was your local truck stop mentioned? Because they likely have it cheaper than Amazon.
That's actually a good point too. If you got a local truck stop, they will probably have that vice grip mount with the antenna connection already on it.
All right, cool. Thank you, guys.
And then for just pure fun of like for everybody watching, You got two other options that are like more expensive than that, like Res Antenna. They have a blank that can work as kind of like that go-between. The Scout right there. The Scout works perfectly for this type of thing. If you didn't want to use the vice grip, right? It can go between, and that's your connection to coax. Or if you take my link in the video description to Gigaparts, and you search up Chameleon, which you will get a 10% discount if you do this. They have the blank, and you can use the blank. Oh, they got a lot of stuff I forgot. Yeah, this guy. So, no image, but the blank bit is also will work for this if you need to connect something to it. And then you can put that on a tripod. You can put that on whatever. It's more expensive though because it blows your budget. It's already $140 or whatever. So if you want to be under 100 and you already have the whip, then vice grip's the way to go.
I do follow-up question then. What is the blank doing for you that the vice grip isn't?
It's literally doing the same thing. It's basically the same thing. The difference with the blank is that you can mount it on a tripod. So if you own a tripod and you're a little bit more confident with setting a tripod up, you just put the blank on top of the tripod with the screw on the bottom, and then you put your antenna on top of that, and then that gives you the coax feed.
Now, do you not like the spike?
Yeah, you could do the spike too, but you still would need the blank for that, though.
You just need the CB mount from like a truck stop or something, and
you could do that too.
A nail.
The only thing is that you will need some way to get the radials connected.
I just usually connect it right on the side of the clamp.
Okay, clamp. You just said spike.
Yeah. Well,
the screw
clamp,
on the spike.
Yeah, right. The screw. Well, the screw on the clamp from the CB mount, right? The CB mount's one of those ones that that the truckers put on the big. Their big mirrors.
Yeah. The mirror mount one. Okay, yeah.
Right. And then that's got two big bolts coming off of it. You just screw the radials onto that.
Yeah, so Tom Schaefer is pointing out there's literally 100 ways to do this and more. So there's like literally explore all your options. But the cool part about that is since you already have a wire antenna with the pack antenna, which is great, you can orient that into a tree. You can do all kinds of stuff with that. And then you can also run the vertical, and you will get slightly different receive capabilities and also slightly different takeoff angles with your antenna, which could be beneficial depending on your setup.
Cool. Well, thank you. And then just with that Chameleon tripod, do you have to get that puck in order to attach radials to it, or is there something...
Well, at the end of the day, you don't. You just need the alligator clip to touch to something metal that's on the shield side of the coax. So it could literally just be the twisty bit on the coax, the flange. You can literally just take if you take those wide Harbor Freight clips and just clip it over the top of it, you're done. Otherwise, yeah, you can get the donut. That's what they call that. But the donut usually accepts banana plugs. That's kind of how the whole thing's built.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Yep. Very good. I guess you could also just go. I mean, if you're gonna go, boy. See, I'm into the weeds now. But if I go back far enough, so I think, where is the? Let me go back here. Oh no, that was it. Okay, so. Oh boy. Yeah, this guy. So. What Don's talking about, the only problem is it's not rotated 90 degrees here, but you could just go to Home Depot and go get like a ground spike, like a huge car, like spike for landscaping, and you could mount the antenna there and jam that into the ground. The only difference is you'd want the antenna mount to be rotated 90 degrees off of that, off center. But yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, the ones that are going on like trucker mounts are going to be rotated because they're going to stick up along the...
Yeah. So those exist. You just have to find them. I just, in the 5 seconds, I'm giving this to do it, Oh, wait, you can just rotate the plate. Just rotate the plate. It's a square. Just rotate the plate. So it's 90 degrees rotated, and that little dip, that go to Home Depot, buy a spike, drive that sucker into the ground. That's the mount point. now you got your antenna clamp, mount point. Put your 17-footer on it, and then you just have to attach your radials to one of those screws or something like that, or just alligator clip it onto the aluminum. It's fine.
And there's a number of ways to do the spikes. One of the easiest is just to go to the nail aisle, and they have some really big nails. And
big nail.
Use a nail.
That's it. Yep. Use a big nail, buddy. That's what I say all the time. All right. Well, Turney, I hope that helped. Was that good? We get you on the way?
That was great. Thank you.
All right, very good.
And by the way, there are a ton of inexpensive antennas that on eBay Etsy that are really good.
Uh-huh.
So it's worth looking at those as well. And by the way, I just on Etsy a few weeks ago I bought from Sean, ham radio dude.
Uh-huh.
He had some of those 25-foot whips for like $63.
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, that's a good deal.
No.
But if you got, so here's the thing. These 17-foot whips are prevalent now. They're all over the place. People are picking them up at ham fests, or they're getting them in giveaways at ham clubs. They are very easy to get on the air. It's a very low-cost way to do it. And for a portable, if you're doing like a POTA, back of the vehicle, picnic table operation type stuff, they're great. They're really good antennas. You do need an analyzer, though. That's the one thing, or a radio that'll help you out a little bit. You can do it with the S meter, but it's not always the fun way to do it. So I'll say that about it.
Okay, then, for crying out loud, what analyzer do you recommend?
Well, you're okay. You should make a go at it with the 705. Go try it with the 705 first before you go spend more money. And if you're happy with the 705, then you don't need to do anything. But just remember, think about the bands as terms of like the length of the whip, right? So 17 feet, stretch that whole thing out, and then do the SWR test. And if your salad bowl is to the very left side of the 705 band, like when you're looking at the meter, then that means that the antenna is too long, and you need to shorten it a little bit. So you go just grab maybe a couple inches of it with your finger and just drag it down. Then go back to the 705, key it up a couple of times again for the SWR, and see if that punch bowl moved to where your operating frequency is. That's all you should have to do. Does that make sense? Am I telling a story with my words?
You.
Okay, good. Excellent. All right. Well, report back and let us know how it went. Very good. Okay.
Comment.
Good comment.
17 meters is 2 sections and a half down, roughly.
Say again, what?
On the 17-foot whip, it's 2 sections. Pull 2 sections down to get you 17 meters.
Sure. Right. And so, yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Is so if you're at 20, then you got to take a couple sections down to get to 17. You got to take a couple sections down to get to 15. By the way, 15 has been a very good band for me recently. I'm in love. I'm having a honeymoon with 15 meters. It's been amazing, particularly since Hawaii, which is the band that I totally relied on to make all my contacts.
15 meters is best meters.
Dude, it's Levi, I got to tell you, it bailed me out on Hawaii big time. That was amazing. Clutch band. Was there a comment? Go ahead.
Hey, this is first time for me. Chad, KQ4ZNH. I was
Chad.
one of the teachers at the Institute last week with Steve at headquarters, and really appreciated seeing that on the program.
Fantastic. Well, I mean, you can give us your first. Think of this as your your voice Yelp review. Would you give the Teachers Institute 5 stars?
I definitely would. This is my 26th year teaching, and I've been to several week-long workshops in my day, and usually by the second hour of the first day, I am working on something else, and just present in the room in body only. And that was not the case this week. It was fully engaging. They since it was everything was a new setup. There were some kinks to iron out. It was pretty neat hearing Max's name because I got to meet Max this week, and it was just a fantastic experience. I would recommend it, and I'll be back for the next classes if at all possible.
That's amazing. So 26 years as a teacher. So congratulations to you, and thank you for helping all those kids throughout the years. That's amazing. What was your favorite part from the Teachers Institute when you were there?
I definitely enjoyed the fox hunting and the satellite communications that we did. Personally, for me, my favorite part was I passed my amateur extra while I was there, and that was really neat. I passed that, and then got to go out and work W1AW a little bit after I finished up.
So you're kind of like big man on campus with all the other teachers there. Were there other extras that were there, or were you like the token ham, if you will?
No, there was. We had a ham from South Carolina. She does a lot of volunteer work with the Girl Scouts in that area, and awesome. She was an extra, and she just really wanted to know how to more effectively cover ham topics and teach ham topics with her scout troops, and so she was the other extra. We had, I think it was at least 8 that tested. We had I think all of them minus 1 passed their technician test.
That's amazing. So what do you think you can take back to the classroom? Sorry for putting you on the spot. Sorry for turning this into a full interview, but I'm just so fascinated by this because you literally went to the TI and now you can take some of this stuff back to your classroom. And so, like, what do you think is going to be some good building material, or what can you use, you think?
So I'm taking kind of a 2-prong approach. Back in my area, my wife is the 4-H agent for our county. So nice. I'm going to use 4-H as the main means of getting to the most students that I possibly can. I teach for the county system here, and I'm a ESL teacher, and I'm only one of 5 ESL teachers in our system. So I travel around a good bit. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that we do with language acquisition, the receptive, you get language first by reception. You're listening and all of that, and you're reading, but it's the expressive that is the most difficult. And radio got me talking, and so I really hope to kind of use it as an enrichment for my ESL students, and really help them with that.
That's interesting. So you're going to challenge them a little bit by using a radio to communicate over English. That's cool.
Go ahead. That's the thing about the ham community. If you have a need for a skill, and generally, in my experience so far, it doesn't matter what that skill is in, whether it is radio related or not. But if you have a need for a skill and there's a ham that knows how to do it, and chances are there is a ham that knows how to do it, they are going to help you out. And I think that would be. I feel like the ham community in general is a safe place that I can have my students reach out to when they're wanting to communicate. So I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. Okay. If I had my recommendation, you should just have them learn Morse code in your ESL class. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. I'm just kidding.
That is next for me. CW is next for me. I did not see. I didn't understand the fascination with it, honestly, and I think it was because I was so focused on getting through all 3 levels. I was only licensed back in December of last year, so yeah. I really tried to move through that, but now CW is next on my list.
Oh, good. Yeah, we're trying to convince more people to check out Morse code because, again, 5-watt radio functions like an 80-watt or 100-watt single sideband transmitter. That's the efficiency of Morse code. So thank you, Chad. I appreciate the live feedback on the Teachers Institute. That's amazing. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Thank you for covering it tonight. I'll get off now. Thank you.
Yeah, Levi, you're going to say something? You popped in a couple times. I saw your...
No, probably. Sorry, my mic maybe not. I'll mute.
You're just on
Sorry, my bad.
You got a hair trigger on that mic, bud.
Yeah, I'm on voice activity.
Oh, okay. Oh, they let you have voice activity? Jeez, this server's gone.
Let me remove that.
What's that? Go ahead.
I said, let me go ahead and remove that. No,
yeah, get that away from this man.
I do have a question for him though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Seeing as how we both went through Teachers Institute, did you not find it more engaging how you didn't just sit in the classroom environment? They always kept going back and forth between lab and class material, then lab, then class material. So you're not just sitting there feeling drained at the end of the day, that, you know, you get to exercise your brain a little bit more.
Definitely. We were always on the move. There was not a lot of downtime, and when we were in that classroom, we were always busy with something. I had done some soldering in the past. The first little project that we did, the first thing that they asked us to do was a surface mount of a really tiny little chip, and that was a little frustrating for even folks that had a little bit of experience in the room. But it was pretty neat. You were in a room full of people that if you said, you know, hey, I sure would like a lighted magnifying glass, then there was somebody in the room who went, hey, would you like that with an incandescent bulb or fluorescent? What you want? You want an LED on that? And so it was
I like it. That was it, Side Boom? That was your question?
Yeah, that was it. I mean, it's a great program. I learned a lot as well doing it last week. So
yeah, how was the 11 meters?
It was hot. It was
the 11-meter portion of the TI. What was that like, Side Boom?
Well, we got down. So
did you get down? All right. Did you take people to the parking lot? Did you have your Suburban with 12 alternators running your amplifier?
I brought the
30,000 watts.
Yeah. Running 240 off the Suburban.
There you go, man. Very good. All right. Anybody else here for the first time would like to say hi or ask a question? This is your opportunity to get in there. By the way, everybody in the YouTube chat, this counts for you too, because we're gonna do a little live reacting. We actually found, thanks to Frank, we found the part of the video linked in the video description where he's talking about the TI specifically. So we're gonna dive in on Dick Norton's hot takes on the TI. But is there anybody with any questions before we get started with that? Because I want to take them. I want to get you guys in. I want to get you on the air. That's my big goal. Keep in mind, who was it last week? We had homework. We had a homework assignment. Where's our homework assignment guy? Is he back?
Josh, are you hearing Frank? Yes. Frank's been trying to get you.
I don't hear Frank.
Is Frank having audio problems?
Can you hear Frank?
I can hear Frank. I hear Frank.
I can't hear Frank. What the heck?
Yeah, I can't either.
Frank, can you leave and come back?
Can you just leave?
That's
thank God.
Hey. Hey now.
Okay, can you hear me
now? I hear him.
Okay.
That was weird.
Yeah, that's weird. So I have a comment for Chad now that we're like 5 minutes past that. I've been trying to jump in.
Your mic is really low, though.
Oh, man. I don't know what's going on with that.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. So my comment for Chad, once you get your ESL students going with ham radio, tell them they can talk to their home country on ham radio. That might excite them.
Oh, that's good too. Yeah, for ESL, yeah, that's good. Yeah, Frank, you're overdriving the crap out of your mic, but you're simultaneously really low, which is crazy. I don't know how. Like you got the mic in your mouth, but it's also really low. I don't know how we're achieving that level of combination.
Okay,
he might really have the mic in his mouth.
No,
he might.
Up.
He might.
It's baby Frank controlling the mic again.
Okay, I backed off a little bit. Is this better?
I mean,
it's tiny.
It's better for audio quality, but your mic is like super low. Are you on Windows? Go into the sound settings and crank that puppy.
Yeah, I am.
Also, make sure you're using the mic you think you're using.
Check Discord.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you might be on the wrong mic.
You need to
That's
turn
what
it
it
up
sounds
and back on
like.
again.
Do you even Discord,
be a
bro?
problem on Mac.
So here's where we're at. Honey whiskey. It's pretty good. It's a sipper.
Okay, how's this?
Way better. What'd you do? What'd you do?
The Windows defaulted back down to like 25%.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Now you know what it's like if you run some SDR software that ducks your audio like way down. Just go in there and crank that thing up.
Yeah. By the way, I got you the timestamp along with 4 others that you might appreciate.
I saw that. I mentioned it. Thank you very much. We're gonna dive into those in a second. Prep Ham Paul, my guy, says Ham Radio Crash Course. Any luck on FTX and digital? No. Unless something's changed with the FTX, I'm not gonna try digital again on it right now. I think we need a firmware upgrade. We need something. We need help. We need a cat like manual release. We need the whole thing released to the people. This is crazy. What I did do though was I built the Atom loop, the Atom coil. So this is a 3D printed coil that'll get you down to 40 meters on the KH1. 3D printed coil. Isn't that cool? So you literally can go in here and you can change your frequency, your resonant frequency on the coil, and it mounts on the top of the KH1 and goes in the bag.
That's nice.
Isn't that cool? Adam.
Yeah.
Coming up with I built that, so I'll thank you very much. Wow,
I'm
nice
surprised
winding.
it's that big.
Yeah, I gotta say, Adam coming up with the hot bangers, and I'll tell you what. There's a video that I'm going to be making on this. I'm going to shoot a bunch of it tomorrow. This is my dad radio. I think everybody's heard me reference the KH1 as my dad radio, which is simply I have that radio on me all the time. And I schlep my kids around, and then they do the kid things that they were dragged there to do. And then I got some time on my hands. And so I go into the parking lot or whatever, sit on the tailgate of my truck. And yes, I know I have an 891 in my truck. I know that. But I like just being outdoors kind of thing. And I'll pull up the spots for Soda or Poda, and I'll look for CW, and I'll try and chase them. And that's been my radio to do that. I call it my dad radio. I love it. It's been a lot of fun.
Josh, there's no shame in having 2 radios with you.
Oh, well, buddy.
Yeah.
I often have more than 2 radios on me at any one time.
Oh yeah, but you're like, I got the 891 in the car. That doesn't matter. That's in the car.
Yeah.
I have done that.
We're supporting you.
Well, thank you, Mike. Thank you for approving of my addiction.
Validation.
Validation for my addiction. Yeah, thank you. Very good.
You know what's crazy, Josh? Is I was at a HRO in Delaware as I went to DC this weekend, and they're like, "Oh, you should get a new radio, the FTX one." I looked at the guy and said, "Nah, Josh says I shouldn't be a beta tester." And some guy in the back goes, "I saw that video too."
Yeah, it's kind of scary. I'm telling you, it really freaks me out that I have the impact I do. And by the way, Mike's got the impact, Jason has the impact, everybody's got this impact. Like, the creator space on YouTube is like direct to consumer. Like, we can go direct to your eyeballs most of the time. That's a lot of responsibility, man. It freaks me out a lot of the time. So most of it is like, I got to show you why I think the way I do. Otherwise, I'm just some guy with an opinion, right? That's what scares me, is like, but the FTX has got some problems. They got to fix some stuff. They really do.
Well, I mean, when I mentioned the FT8 problems, they're like, "Oh, you can do this, that, and the other," and some other guy goes, "I don't want to be a beta adopter."
Yeah.
It's the Shegu business model.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, geez, I don't even know. I think the G90 shipped being digital ready. So let me just say that. How old's the G90 now? And
it actually, mine melted when I did FT8. So
I'm not saying that if you put too much, it ran it. That's the point I'm making, Don. You just probably put too much power into it.
Digital ready on the G90 is in so many air quotes, it looks like the typewriter had a malfunction.
Yeah,
it works.
I find myself.
They replaced the power cables, is what they did to fix it.
That's right. It went to power poles. Go ahead, Mike.
I find myself thinking when I use the FTX that Yaesu is turning into Xiegu, but because it does feel like that with this radio. But Yaesu has a very long track record of making very good radios. So ultimately, I firmly believe they put this radio out way prematurely, but it'll get fixed. Like I'm not worried. Like this is a 6100 where Xiegu promises this, that, and the other thing, and it never comes to fruition. They come out with a 6200.
That's true.
I'm getting comments on my videos like, this radio's got bugs. I'm gonna wait for the FTX 1FA or whatever. I'm not too worried about it. The bugs that it has are kind of small.
Are you getting comments on your videos, Mike, that say like, "How do you like that free radio you got?"
No, there was only a couple of those when I bought it.
He actually bought it, kids.
I filmed myself buying it. And
there was a video of
it.
No, but there was a big conspiracy on that video where people thought that he went back and returned it, and then they just gave it to him. That was one
comment. I don't know if I'd say it was a big conspiracy.
Big conspiracy.
I thought you were committing an FTC violation. I thought you were committing an FTC violation.
The original conspiracy was the fact that people at Hamvention were able to buy radios when there were still people out there on the waiting list.
You know what, Don? Let me respond to that.
Please.
I know. I've heard it, and I agree. It's just that's what was being said.
Of course, it's what's being said. But you know what? I bought the ZBit X on April 13th.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not receive my radio by Hamvention. And you know who was there selling ZBit X's? Ashar.
Yeah.
You know what I didn't do? I didn't go up to Ashar and say, "Hey, I bought one of these a month ago. Can I have one?" No, I waited for it to come in the mail, and now I have it. And that's all I'm going to say about it.
A notable example of this is Alec, the mod in here, with his amplifier from Reinhardt, who did the exact same thing. It happens.
Yeah.
It's the biggest ham radio festival in the world. Like, you don't think people are going to bring their wares to sell? And it turns out Yaesu is the one that gave HRO the radios. HRO didn't bring those radios. Yaesu brought them and gave them to HRO to sell.
Yeah. Yeah. HRO got like shafted on the whole thing. They were like, what did we do? Like we're just trying to bring radios to the people, man.
If I was Tim, I'd be pissed.
Tim Grayman?
K3LR.
Yeah, Tim?
That's DX Engineering.
DXE.
No, DXE, yes.
Tim is rolling in so much money, Tim does not care about anything.
DX Engineering DX Engineering has like a later order on the FTX one. Like he's not, I don't think they were the first orders.
Yaesu brought him to the show, and they picked HRO over all the other vendors.
They didn't pick them. They ordered a crap ton. That's the point. So I want everybody to understand, too, if you don't know this, HRO's like market cap in amateur radio is higher than all the other retailers like combined. That's why they have so many stores. That's why they can ship so quickly. They are a huge retail space in amateur radio. They're like the largest retailer. So that comes with a certain level of gravitas. If your order is every radio that Yaesu has to offer, they want them and will sell them, then yeah. I mean, that's what's going to happen. Yeah, exactly. Ironham got it. Huge volume player in Yaesu. So,
yeah, I'm pretty sure DX Engineering swings heavily towards the ICOM market.
Well, DXE's main market is contesters, and it's a tax write-off for Summit. It's tax write-off for Summit Racing.
He's got what 1278 10s in his shack or whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, we don't talk about Tim's radio choice.
So DX Engineering is going to be the guys you go to. Don't worry. I mean, let me be really clear. You can go there and get anything you want, but if you're going to like set up a serious antenna setup, you go to DX Engineering and check out what they have because that's what you're looking for.
DXE also brings in all of the stuff that the Europeans get that we can't get.
Yeah.
So DXE has all of the weird like GXP, micro ham, all of the like weird niche European products that like goes to big contest stations. They come in through DXE. So that's DXE's big market is also contesters.
I bought my antennas there, and I can tell you that sucker is amazing.
Prep Ham Paul is sorry that he brought up the FTX1. I want the radio to succeed. I want this radio to succeed. You guys all freaked me out a little bit where some of you said in the chat like, "Oh, get ready for FTX1A," and I'm like, "You sons of." Like I don't want that. I want them to make this radio good. I want the firmware updates. I want all that to fix everything that's going on. That's what I want. That's what I want to see.
There's not a hardware problem with that radio.
Well, aside from the 40 meter stuff, mine does actually I think have to go to Yaesu. I think for the 40 meter stuff.
Yeah, and some of the radios, I mean, mine doesn't have that problem. So and I've heard of other people that don't have the problem. So,
well, mine happened live. Mine happened. We showed it last week.
Oh,
it was live.
I know it happens. I've seen several people that have shown it, and yes, it happens. It doesn't happen to everybody. Yeah. It's just like with Paul, right? You tried to duplicate what he did with FT8, and his is working. And
yes.
So, I mean, there's got to be some like subtle differences in something somewhere.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we know where it is.
And yeah, a friend of mine, or his guy on Facebook, bought one recently, and it's got all the new firmware already preloaded. In fact, it's got firmware that we don't even have.
I do really want Yaesu to realize that they have like the only radio like this that could do APRS, and they're biffing it hard. The fact that APRS is not fully cooked is like, bro, you got to give me APRS on this thing. That's crazy. That's literally the reason why a lot of people bought it, is to be able to have HF, VHF, UHF, and APRS in one thing. Like that's
it does
so
do APRS.
Powerful. You can't reply to anybody.
I know. It's the K8MRD version of APRS.
Just beacon all the time, every time. That's it.
I was at their board meeting.
Always be beaconing?
When they were designing all the quirks of the radio for things that won't work.
And we said,
like,
obviously,
please give the APRS immediately, please.
Yeah, like let's just tease them.
We know how to
specifically let's tease
KM4ACK.
Exactly.
Dude, Jason was texting me the minute he got his hands on the APRS stuff and started working on it. He's like, dude, what do I do? Like, what are we going to talk about this? And I'm like, well, he's like, I'm working on a video. I think we have to talk about this. And I'm like, yeah, man, it doesn't work. You got to talk about it. He's like, oh, this is like one of the biggest reasons I bought this dang thing. And I'm like, yes, yeah, absolutely, man.
I think once it's fully integrated, I'm hoping, we're speculating, that it might actually be somewhat of a, I don't want to say the word good, but better than the normal Yaesu APRS interface.
So my big question with this one is, there is APRS on HF. Can it do APRS on HF natively?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, Frank. Exactly.
See, that's a good question. That's a really good question, because doing APRS on HF is actually pretty cool, and if you can do it in body, that's awesome. If you could do that,
and somebody's taken. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
So somebody's taken over the development of JS8 call, and they're working on it again.
Seriously?
Yes.
Who? Link me. Can you link me?
Yeah, they're doing it on the actual GPS, but I'll go look it up. I'll get you a link, because they're can't remember if it's Facebook or where, but I saw them talking about it, and they're trying to move it forward.
Interesting.
Oh, I know. I saw it in the groups.io page for JS8 call. That's right. I'll go look it up. It's in my email.
Okay.
Comment.
Go ahead, Mark.
For Dawn, I've been meaning to tell you this and maybe pass it on to the developers. We started using OpenAI's Codex, C-O-D-E-X, and it added another coding person to our team. It's worth giving a shot. It's really a force multiplier.
Oh, nice.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean, Mark?
Okay, so it is a large language model, right? It's ChatGPT, it's Grok, it's Claude, whichever one you use. But it can analyze your entire code base and go through and fix stuff or add features very effectively.
Does it
so
comment?
Does it comment? What's that?
Does it comment?
Does it comment? Yes.
Okay, continue.
Okay, so it's legit. So the reason I bring this up is, people who are doing this development are often doing it in their free time for free. They don't have a lot of time. You can say, go through my code and comment everything. Go through my code and look for unused variables. Go through my code and, I'd like you to add this feature. Tell me how you do it. What tasks should I do? And then it'll give you a checklist, and you can start executing them one after the other, then do pull requests. It's really quite impressive. I mean, you still need to be a coder to know if it's coming up with BS or not, and to give it guidance and architect and all that, but it's like having another member on the team, a junior dev. It's great.
That's amazing. Well, are the comments good, or is it just commenting on the function call, that kind of stuff? Like
no,
inputs,
the
outputs?
comments are good. It can sit there and say, this is a better way to debug your code. This is a better way to blah, 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 do best practices. The comments are excellent. I'd say, maybe junior level's a little too low. It's like having a mid-level software engineer on your team.
Can it unit test?
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Oh my God!
I wrote about 30 of those in the last 2 weeks using Codex.
So what is it looking at? Does it build like the skeleton driver
to figure out and take a look at it? It's impressive.
That's amazing, dude. Oh, I love that. I love to hear that. That's awesome.
So, bringing it back to Dawn,
yes.
Whoever's doing the JS8 call stuff, software development takes time, and this can speed things up significantly, especially for somebody who's doing it on their own.
There you go. All right. I think, let's see, where are we at with the Discord? Yeah, let's dive into our friend Dick here. I think that Dick has often done talks at people. They go expecting an ARRL discussion about like what's going on with the ARRL, and he lambasts them with everything that he thinks is wrong with the ARRL. So we queued up a moment here, and again, thank you to Frank for lining this up. So I'm gonna slide over here. So I think this is pretty close, and yes, by the way, I don't know how to do a live react with so many people on Discord, so if you say comment, I'll pause the video, and then you can add your thoughts, but let's see where we go here.
To do stuff that benefits us, benefits ham radio, and allows us to...
Oh, wait, you can't hear it, can you? You can't hear it.
Right, we have to watch your live in order to hear it.
I just realized you can't hear it. How can I put the audio into Discord?
It would have to go through your microphone, Josh.
You can share your screen in the Discord room.
Yeah, but then that wipes out.
No. I can do that.
Yeah, you can do that and share your audio.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Good. Great call, Gray Man. You bailed us out. Save the day, bud. Okay.
Wouldn't you have to restart though with a Gray Man code?
No, yeah, just factory reset. No restarts. I have to
factory reset the Windows
reset,
box.
Excuse me.
Factory reset the whole entire Windows
I don't know
box.
all this fancy computer speak.
Okay, let's see. Can you see this on the live stream on Discord?
Yes.
Okay, am I feedbacking you guys? Or are you good?
You're good.
You're good.
Okay, can you hear it?
And allows us to contribute to society.
Yep.
Oh my God,
now
we did it!
I would say
what are you hearing? I'm not hearing anything.
You got to click on my live stream on the. I'm live now.
Box, Mike.
I am. Where you see all the comments?
No, up towards the top of the chat.
No, he's sharing a screen.
You got to
on
click
Discord,
on my
so you
screen
have to
share.
watch that.
Top left box, Mike. Click on it.
Sure.
Did you do it, Mike?
No, I'm just agreeing. I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Okay, so in the chat room, if you scroll to the top, you see it says I'm live?
No, I don't see any of that, but don't stop the stream just because of my dumb ass.
Okay. But you can't hear it, though, and I kind of want your hot takes, so. Because you've actually helped the TI out a lot, so it would be good if you're listening to some of this.
Yeah.
If
scrolling to the top.
If anything, Mike, I'll send you a link.
I should be at the top of live stream -- after chat. Hoshnas.
Oh, that after chat.
Yeah, if you click on
sorry.
me, it should pull up my video that I'm sharing.
Yep. It says watch stream. Got it.
You got it? Oh, we're doing this all. This is literally the first time we're doing this. So, Ironham, you better knock it off with your APRS stuff because I've already worked through. Hold on.
Doing it live.
Oh, it's HF. Okay, he's talking about HF. Are you guys? You ready? You ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right, Mike, are you queued up?
I see a screen on my thing. Yep.
Okay, here we go.
Whose objective is to raise money from people somehow or other, and its primary objective is to sell ham radio to people who are not radio hams. And it's described in more detail as follows. Are most of you familiar with what we call the Teachers Institutes?
Here we go.
The Teachers Institutes take place. They're like a week-long event where a school teacher, generally a high school science teacher or a math teacher or something like that, comes for a week and gets introduced to electronics. And ham radio is part of that.
Okay.
It has been going on since I've been on the board. This is my 21st year. And
okay, so I just want to pause to say it has changed in those 20-something years he's been on the board. Steve has brought a number of changes, which we've talked about many times. So here we go.
Comment.
When they give the resume, though.
Go ahead, comment.
My favorite part says, I've been on the board 20-something years. That's like, what? 23 years? Something years? Like,
yeah, so
dude.
He has been the California representative of the ARRL district for 20-something years. And
has never been challenged once?
No, he has. And he's a dirty fighter. He has gotten people ejected for competing against him because of some weird rules that he's found and fought with people on. So if they mention him or they mention that they are running for the district when they are filling an ARRL other role, like in the capacity of doing another job for the ARRL, they mention that they're running for a specific district, that's technically against their rules, and he uses that to deregulate people and get them kicked out. So we had a good,
that's awful.
Yeah, we had a good person that was going to run in this area, but Dick found a loophole and got them kicked out.
He's like a career politician.
He is literally a career politician. Yes.
Dick has a friend here in Roanoke who's in Foreland who has done the same thing multiple times.
Yeah, so
it's spreading to other members of the board. They're all using the same rules.
So Liberty Cave says that isn't dirty. That is ethics. So I think it depends on how you look at it. If it was a mistake and the guy said, hey, I'm running for this section of the district, like how many people is he actually reaching with that like content? That guy could have reached out to me and I would have amplified his signal a ton more than he could have gotten in that particular moment of 5 people or how many people were watching whatever it was that was going on. So like I don't fully, the rules make sense. They make sense in terms of fairness, but like, you could just get around fairness and you can come direct to me and be like, yes, no, I would like Dick to no longer have this position and have him replaced. I will amplify your signal right now. And you can have, like, right? So, is it that big of a deal of a rule break? Not really. Not really. Particularly if you're messing with Steve.
I mean, to be fair,
If you're messing with Steve, then you're messing with me, basically. So here we go.
Excitement that the teachers get out of it comes from robots. They build little robots. At least that's what they used to do. The robot.
Okay, so at least he admitted that that's what they used to do. But you already see he's poisoning the well to say, hey, the teachers, they get all excited because they're building little robots. So he's poisoned the well. That's what we call this. This is a tactic in debate or whatever where you start to denigrate the opponent's position by saying, the little thing that they like to do. They're building little robots, right? So already disingenuous.
Comment?
Drive around on the.
Go ahead, comment.
Yeah, so I think part of the issue I'm seeing here, and I watched this when Randy posted it. This was from Quartz Fest.
Yes, it was.
And,
yes.
Part of it was he's a few times he said, at least this is how they used to do it. The biggest problem is he's not speaking of anything Steve is doing right now.
Correct.
And that's the biggest problem. And then people are not getting the fact that, hey, you know what? This is all old, really old, not just old information. It's really old information.
But
they really should say, hey, what are we currently doing? That's the real question. But he's not going to talk about that.
I will yes and you by saying the fact that he's not taking that actual tract of what the ARRL is doing and then coming out to places like Quartz Fest where people might not be educated enough on what the ARRL is doing and lambasting them as being ineffective is disingenuous. It's hugely disingenuous. It should not be allowed. He should not be allowed to continue to hold this position if he's not willing to understand what the actual league is doing at the time. Very frustrating.
And what's worse about it, Josh, is he had an open Q&A session after he went over all his talking points here. I didn't go that far into it, but not once was it brought back up. Nobody went, well, what are they doing now?
So I want to say to Lee, and that's why I'm no longer a member. See, I respect what you're saying. I get where you're coming from, but we gotta. There's a certain point in your life where you have to say, I can be an outsider looking in, or I'm going to actually try to affect change that I want to see in the world. And you can say I'm just going to keep my money back, and I'm not going to play ball, and I'm not going to get involved. And yeah, your elbows are going to get a little bit dirty doing it, but you're going to have to get in there and say hey, I want to see this type of change. I want to grow this community. And yes, I'm willing to commit time and do whatever. So it's okay that you're not a member. I understand that, but there's not a lot of other options we got right now. So the best we can do is get involved, play ball with what they got, and see how we can improve upon it. At least try that first before you say no more money from me. That's what I'll say there. So are more comments? Or are we ready for the continuation?
Yeah, I'll comment real quick.
Go ahead.
Basically, what they need to do is they need to think outside the box. And what I'm getting, he's not doing that.
Well, yeah, no, he's throwing rocks. A lot of rock throwing, not a lot of building with the rocks that he's got. That's what I'm saying.
Power too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem.
They're literally on the table.
He's got a whole pile of rocks, and he throws them all over the place, but he never uses those rocks to build anything. So here we go.
No, he has to hold the papers down.
Well, yeah, you can see it. You can literally see the rocks.
The floor, they control them with radios, and the robots do stuff, and they come away. They enjoy these events, and historically, we have not come up with quantitative data on how effective these are in doing anything.
Perfect pause point. Quantitative effects. We just heard about Everett, who, how many hams did he get licensed that are young people? Over 403,
I think is what I heard.
Over 400, who is a graduate of the TI Institute. This is the point that he should be making instead of saying, we have no quantitative effect. That's literally the quantitative effect right there. Need I say more? What?
This is like me making a video on APRS.
It's just like that, Mike. It is just like that. But you understand my problem, right? Because he says a platitude, he makes a claim, but then he doesn't back it up with anything. He just says, "Oh yeah, they've been they haven't established any."
This is how they used to do it.
This is how they used to do it. They built robots that pissed me off. Okay, yeah, if somebody had little shoebox robots in the hallways that I was kicking as I was trying to fill up my Owala bottle, sure, that would piss me off.
But you can even argue against that, because what's controlling those robots?
Radio. Or, I mean, they could have been, you know,
Weird.
They could have been optical.
No, they're right. My nephew does the robot things, and he's traveled to Houston for like the World Robotics
There you go.
competition.
My kids are doing that too. That's been their entry to radio.
Yeah.
They're like, are you on Lego First Robotics League or which?
So I was part of First Robotics competition. That's the high school level. Lego is for like the elementary and lower middle school. But yeah, I did that during high school.
I mean, there's different parts of it. There's different parts of it though, because like they use Lego parts in FTC, but not FRC.
Yeah, each level is a little bit different, but FRC is the like for the older people, and that's where I got involved in right before I graduated. And anyone who's graduated from First is considered a First alumni.
Somebody says my stream is got a problem.
You are very sluggish right now, at least on my end, watching you.
It's a little blippy. I hit refresh.
Yeah, everybody refresh and tell me if it's still screwed up.
I mean, to be fair, like,
hold on.
I don't want to defend Dick here, but when he says like the teachers enjoy this, like, yeah, like I'd enjoy going to this kind of event.
Well, but they're not building robots anymore. They're doing way more than that, and he's not even paying attention to it.
Refreshed, and you're still 180. You're 1080, but you're 1 frame per second at best.
Oh yeah, the drop frames went through the roof.
I'm confused. It's paused right now. What are you guys seeing that you think is moving?
They're referencing to the YouTube stream, not the Discord stream.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Oh, this is my hosting, isn't it? Oh my god.
But the point being, though, I mean, there's nothing wrong with robotics either, but it's outdated information. So.
Yeah, I think that's the entire point here. It's all this is outdated stuff. You know, I'm not saying it's not. Josh, I'm not saying it's not good to hear this, but his view is all outdated. That's his problem.
Josh, could it be that you're pushing to Discord and out to Restream?
No, it shouldn't be.
Okay.
Our problem is that this guy in 2025 is saying these things, and we've only actually heard about 15 seconds of what he said, and here we all are.
Oh yeah, this went on for a good 10 minutes. I think it was the total length of him talking about TI.
You're saying context matters, and sometimes you have to listen to the entire thing. Preposterous.
Well, one thing I'll add. Oh, sure, go ahead, sorry.
I was saying, talking with Steve today, like I understand why he's got heart problems. Like you gotta go against a guy like this who's clearly twisting his words. But you know, Steve's doing a great job, and then you got guys like this saying things like this, and it's like, wow.
All right, Josh, you're back to 30 frames at 1080. You're good.
We're good. Okay.
I've got a comment from a former teacher's perspective, if we have time for it.
Yeah, 1 second. I just want to reply to Plain and Simple. I check my P.O. box once a week, and I pulled all my mail, and we commented on all the mail on this week's podcast, which dropped. So, go ahead, Mark. You got it.
Thanks. The part that pisses me off the most about this throwing the bombs. It's the same thing that happens when you have a disrespectful kid in your class. Disruptive kid in your class, and it just pervasively eats at you and eats at your spirit. And do I want to stay another 5 minutes to grade these other papers, or just fuck these people? Over time, all of this negative energy. It just eats at you. And that's the part that pisses me off the most, because Steve's out there, and Lord knows he's putting in more than 40-hour weeks on this stuff. He's probably pushing 60 to 70 with a freaking heart problem.
Yeah.
And then you've got jackasses like this dropping bombs. So fuck this guy. I'm 15
Good thing that 17-year-old's not here anymore.
That's my channel, Mark. Calm down. Calm down. Do that on Boondock Echo, okay?
You got it, buddy. Sorry.
Echo.
And I just wonder what Rhea would say about all of this mess.
Well, he mentions Rhea, so he stopped fighting for the whole the Rhea. So Rhea went through a nasty little bit with the ARRL, and he stopped going. He's not backing her up right now in this. But anyway, that's a different thing. I don't even know if we're gonna get into it because we got like 10 minutes to go through, and I think we stopped at 30 seconds before we had to comment twice. So here we go.
We're a whole minute in here.
Yeah, we're definitely reining it in. Yeah.
Were any of you involved in high school in the Los Angeles area in, say, the 50s, 60s, or 70s?
Oh, not
where
me.
There was a radio club in essentially every high school in Los Angeles? One or two of you, yes. And how many of those radio clubs exist today?
So the comment here is, again, this is another fallacy. This is appealing to like the status quo. Just because your high school in the 50s, 60s, and 70s didn't have a ham radio club, that doesn't mean that future generations can't have that. And I don't know of any other way to do that other than get teachers on board with amateur radio that think it's valuable to make a ham club, right? So that's my problem here is that, like, again, if anybody understands what classical fallacies are things people say in arguments that can be just, you can just push them aside because they're not arguments. He's trying to appeal to something that doesn't exist. This concept of a status quo idea that existed once upon a time, and implying that that's either the right way or because that existed that way, that nothing can be better than that. And that's what he's implying, which is a complete, again, fallacy. So, yeah.
Well, it gets worse.
Yeah, no, I know it does. I watched this.
I wonder what his audience is. If he's looking out
it's Quartzfest.
On a sea of if he's looking out on a sea of gray hairs, then I can understand why he's talking the way he is.
Well,
he's trying to appeal to those guys that were in high school back then.
Sure,
right?
Sure. Well, again, so Don, you nailed it. You nailed it. If you can align your commentary to other people's feels, because of like, oh yes, I went to school in the 50s, 60s, and 70s in elementary school. You are one of me. Your comments are echoing my statements. By the mere statement of that, you're dragging the audience to listen to you in a way that would inappropriately give credence to the argument without actually providing any evidence, which is my big problem with Dick's comments. So let's continue.
Gordon has it right. It's essentially zero. And the clubs were sort of an outgrowth of it. Most high schools had what we'd call electronics shop.
Which is great.
When I went to high school, you had wood shop and you had metal shop.
I wish we had more of those.
Well, this was in New York. We hadn't invented electricity there yet. But Los Angeles had electric shop. And a lot of the electric shop teachers were radio hams. And they had radio clubs. There were antennas on the roof. I know plenty of my friends got into ham radio that way.
So pausing here to say, I think the world that he grew up in is a great world. And how do we bring that back to the schools? How can Dick bring that back to the schools? I like the world he's saying. I love the idea of returning shop back to high schools. I love auto shop. I love electronic shop. Are you kidding? That was the thing that you guys had? Where is that? How did we get back to that? How do you propose the value to the schools to bring something like that back?
To answer that question, you've got to figure out why it left in the first place. Because, when I was going to school in the 70s, it was all there. And, I'm talking now to my sister and brother-in-law, who both are in current school districts. All that stuff's gone. And it sounds like it was removed for some reason to do with, the kids could get hurt and the parents don't want it anymore and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, the kids definitely got hurt.
Listen to Mike Rose. The real answer is it's like 8 points, the big one being safety, the other big one being funding.
And Common Core.
Comment?
No, comment. Wait.
Common Core did not do that.
It didn't
Shop classes
exist.
died before the Bush administration that brought. We can have this discussion when it's not on a YouTube, but the reasons why shop class is gone is a very nuanced discussion that requires a lot of talking about the intrinsics of how education policy has changed in the last 50 years.
Really quickly, I will point out that like wood shop, there's a safety aspect for sure. But electronic shop, like they had electronic shop, that's not a safety problem. That's totally safe.
Depends on the electronics you're using.
Well, okay, let's go to DC. Let's not immediately bring out the AC Variac and start testing out failure points.
Yeah. I will admit, yes, the safety issue is lower with DC, but you can argue not every high schooler is the smartest, and they will shock themselves and whatever.
But I mean, that's like that's a learning. Okay, I'm with you, Levi. I know what you're saying.
We're on the same page.
Here we are.
Continue the video.
Comment. Wait, there was a comment. Go ahead, comment.
So why doesn't YouTubers like partner with the ARRL and make content and bring it to
Chris?
These...
Can I answer your question? We have
TikTok,
Chris. We have Chris. We have like as was mentioned in the last stream. I've done videos for the ARRL. Mike has done videos for the ARRL. K6ARK, Adam has done videos with the ARRL. We, as creators, have been open kimono even, with the entirety of ARRL. We want to support them. So before you start getting the pitchforks and the torches out, I want you to understand the complexity of what they have to deal with. They are dealing with a membership base that doesn't really understand YouTube. Like if you think about, you're all watching me and you're like, oh yeah, this is just normal.
Or social media in general.
Right. You're all watching me and you're like, oh, this is all normal. This is what we do on Saturdays. We watch Josh, which by the way, I totally respect. Thank you so much for the support. But there's a vast percentage of the ARRL membership that doesn't do this. They're not watching YouTube videos. They're not doing this kind of stuff. They maybe go to a club meeting and that's kind of all they do, right? So when we start working with the ARRL, it's a slow process because there's a certain level of perfection that they're looking for, whether that's the right answer or the wrong answer. I've had discussions with them on that. They've got their feet in many different markets, if you will, and the market is age-based market, and it's kind of hard to be in the situation they're in. I totally understand the problem they have going on because they're coming out of a group of people who depend on the magazines, and they're like, oh, I can't live without printed word on a page, into a world of social media that's kind of already existed for a while, and they never thought, it's not that they never thought, it's that they didn't believe, or, sorry, not didn't believe either, they were not capitulated to change to the social media aspect of things because their entire market was fine with magazines and books and all the things that they do. They're a publishing house. So now ARRL is in a situation where they have to start to really make big changes into the digital market space, where we have been existing now for, geez, I'm going to hit 10 years in a couple of years of doing the Ham Radio Crash Course specifically. You know, that's a hard thing for an entity as large as the ARRL is to just switch over to that, right? It's really hard. You know what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm throwing down? You catching me? Hopefully. Did I say that right?
And that goes back to my comment to Steve saying, like, how do you both bring in the new generation while also catering to the old generation? Because on one hand, we're in the new market of digital media, but on the backside, you have people who are barely willing to use cell phones and said, oh, but my QST is not in print anymore.
Yeah.
What the heck?
So James, that was your comment? That was a really good comment.
Yeah, that was my comment. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm an engineering manager, right? And I have a fence riding position where I have to support old hardware and also prepare for the world of like Ansible and Kubernetes and service-based architecture and all that stuff, right? So what does that mean? It means I have two workforces almost that I'm balancing. And the ARRL has to get on the same page with that. They have to start diverging the people that are willing to get to the new media baseline, or hiring people that are capable in that space to bring them up to speed, while also maintaining another level of staff that can do both things. They literally have to split their workforce, from my point of view. Is it cut as dry as that? No, of course not. Of course not. But like that's really what it is. Like they have to start moving towards the new media and all the things that go along with that. How you put out videos and how you communicate to people. All of that has to change. But it's got to change over time. It's going to take time to get there. It really does. Consider where they're coming from.
Back to my
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you.
No,
that goes back to my whole point of like Dick here makes like I understand where Dick's coming from, because I'm part of a club where, you know, the older side, I'm asking them to join Discords and be part of like an active group where they're like, oh, but groups.io is good enough for me. And it's like, yeah, that's time late. The new generation moves at the speed of electrons, and the speed of electrons is if something's happening now, they want in, because FOMO, fear of missing out, is a real thing. If I say, hey, there's this DX coming in on the East Coast right now, I'm getting a good signal strength on it, and I ping that out to a Discord, they want in on that. The new generation wants in on that. It's not about the ability to like reach out and talk to each other. It's also the ability to share information at the speed that it's available. And if you're like posting is limited to 6 hours because someone has to go in and approve a post or something like that on a forum, that's too slow. They've already missed it, and they missed the opportunity.
Yeah, so I totally agree with your where you're coming from, but also keep in mind the technology of Discord has existed forever. This is not like new stuff. Like IRC existed when the hams that we're talking about were in their 40s and 30s, right? IRC was the thing that Slack and news groups, all that stuff. Like for many hams, they're already fast communicators. Older people too. I think that the big deal is that, like, if you took just a bell curve slice of like the ARRL membership, it's going to trend towards people that don't really understand the Discord, don't really understand the YouTubes and all the stuff we're doing. And I think Dick is like the spokesperson for those people to some degree, whether he's doing that actively or on purpose. But like that's kind of where we're at right now from my point of view. So are we ready for more of this, or are we...
Bring it on.
Here we go.
Yeah.
But the education establishment has decided that they don't do that anymore, and we really don't have any. There's a couple ham radio clubs in schools in the Los Angeles area. There's one in Long Beach, and there's one in a middle school out in...
There's multiple in San Diego. There are multiples in Los Angeles as well. But
Pomona,
continue.
Claremont, or somewhere out there. But they're kind of gone. But the ARRL is now increasing the number of these teachers' institutes from 3 to, I don't know, 25 or 35 or something like that. It's kind of a full-time effort. And what the league has also done a couple months ago is they're paying close to $100,000 to some company to develop a curriculum to give to schools or sell to schools that is going to get ham radio into the required curriculum for students to somehow learn STEM, science.
Okay. How can you do it any other way? Chat, help me out. Steve wants to make a curriculum that can be brought to homeschoolers, schools, wherever there is education on STEM. How else can you do it but bring in contractors that know how to get it accredited? It has to be accredited, otherwise it's a after-school event. It's a BS thing that you just watch YouTube for, right? If you want it to be a curriculum, it has to be accredited. $100,000 to me, over the large scale, doesn't seem like that much money. I could be wrong. What do you guys think?
No, I mean, the only other way would be actually collaborate with like a state teachers board, but that would probably
how
be
long
more
would that
expensive.
take? How long would that
Exactly.
take? Yeah.
So paying $100,000 for contractors who probably do this day in, day out, and this is their full-time profession, probably a really good ROI in the long term.
Right, because again, and Steve, go ahead, comment.
Oh no, go ahead, Josh. I'll go after you.
No, I want to hear it. Go ahead. You got the floor.
Okay, so thank you. What's interesting to me and related to the on that point what you were talking about is, especially with the audience that are at Forge ultimately Dick's point it really seems to be, I don't mean to put cart before the horse here, but Dick's point really seems to be, hey, they're spending money on something. And because they're spending money on something, this is the false equivalence fallacy. Because he's spending money on
bringing in the fallacies. I like it. All right.
I learned all about those in critical thinking.
Good for you.
The fallacy is that he's talking about where, hey, they're spending money on something, and because they're spending money on something, that's why you're not getting your print QST, and that's why the QSL bureaus are asking you for a couple of bucks to get your envelopes, to get your cards.
Sure.
Ultimately, he's coming up with he's trying to, the fact of the matter is that, yes, the ARL has to spend some money out of the general fund for it, but a lot of the money for TI comes from the Educational Technology Fund,
which is its own fund.
Which is its own fund, which unfortunately I'm in a position where I'm able to contribute to.
Good for you.
And so so I think his point is, yes, they're having to spend some money out of the general fund, and it seems to me to be a reasonable investment. But ultimately, it's all kind of the backdrop here is that, hey, you're having to buy, you're not getting print QST, and you're having, a couple of the services that you used to get, they decided, hey, maybe we don't want to have that. We needed to raise the price of life members or whatever it was. That ultimately you're having to spend more money because, they're spending it on this other stuff without even stating if the other stuff is good or not. But that's ultimately why we have to justify that it's not good. Therefore, we can make the case that why the ARL should bring back digital or paper QST for everybody. Ultimately, that's his point. That's where he goes to.
So you think his argument, all of these arguments go back to like bring back the magazine? You think that's his major?
He absolutely. It's a magazine, and he even talks about the QSL Bureau in this one. And it's because they're all sitting there going, hey, you should you should be able to read QST on the toilet. And so that's ultimately the point that you should.
Where I put my Playboys, where my Playboys and my QSTs.
Exactly. And if you can't read it on the can, we need to find out who's responsible for that and blame them.
He named my YouTube channel on the toilet.
Who did?
Literally.
Thanks, Mike.
You can read QST on the toilet.
Okay, here we go.
Technology, engineering, and math, and I don't know whether any of you think this is likely to be very successful, but what we have now is an education department of 4 people, and one of the jobs of the head of that is to go to teachers' conferences and sell this stuff to schools. Now,
okay, how else would you do it? Steve already mentioned 4 people. He said 4 people.
You get on your bike and you pedal uphill 3 miles every day. Go to the FCC office.
Pick yourself up by the bootstraps. Yeah, pick yourself up
by your bootstraps.
Like how else would you get in front of teachers? But by going to teacher conferences.
It sounds like a fairly efficient way to do it. You send a couple guys.
You send your best guy, which is Steve, K5ATA.
Or you send one guy. Yeah.
He and his wife, like they tag team these teacher conferences. I don't know if all the time, but I've seen her in other Instagram posts. Like you want your best boots on the ground guy to be the one to get teachers engaged in this as a STEM course.
It's called starting a business. I literally did exactly this.
Please, Mike. Please.
When I helped my brother start his business, Be Nectar Meadery. Yeah. I would literally go from liquor store to liquor store to liquor store and just walk in the place and give the pitch. And that's exactly what he's doing. That's you have to. Everybody starts at zero. Everything starts at zero. You have to get boots on the ground. Well, let's see. We have a program for teachers. Okay, let's spend a couple grand. Send this guy to this place for a few days. We'll put him up so he can talk to teachers about STEM and ham radio.
Thank you.
Sounds
for
like a pretty inexpensive solution to me.
Thank you for saying that. Like, you have to start at zero, because that's where we're at, right? Ham radio is not like the name that it used to be. People know of it as like something my grandfather did. It's not something that is like in people's minds, like in front of mind. It's not something that they think about day in and day out. So yes, you have to go to teachers, whatever this is, like council meetings or festivals. It's not a festival. What are we talking about? Anywhere they send Steve, that's like where he has to be able to communicate like what they're doing to teachers. I don't know if I'm crazy, but like that conferences. Jeez, Jason, where were you at 2 seconds ago? But like, where else would you send somebody to be an ambassador of amateur radio, but to a teachers conference if you wanted to get teachers involved in amateur radio? Am I wrong?
You send them to Hamvention. You send them to Hamvention.
That's it, Levi. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, Josh, this entire thing boils down to old man yells at cloud. Old man is stuck in 1960.
Yeah. Old man is mad at clouds. Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned,
can I suggest one more thing?
Go ahead, Tom.
Before you go on.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's interesting is if you listen to the idea that, hey, you could do it, they're spending money on this, and maybe the underlying thing is that, well, hey, we should be able to do it cheaper. They shouldn't be able to spend money. But to play devil's advocate for a second, the interesting thing is take the thing we had, the person who asked the question before about mounting an antenna in the field. She was new, right?
Yeah.
So the point was she specifically talked about, hey, I spent $100, so I'm okay spending $100 to do something else. She said she wanted to get something commercially. But we as hams, we tend to immediately go down the road of, oh, you can just go get this and you can go get this and put it together yourself. And yeah, there's some value in putting it together yourself. No doubt there's value in that. But
sure.
A lot of times we look at it like, hey, how can we, you don't need to go, it's like when you go by and say, hey, I just bought a 7760. People go, oh, why would you spend that much money on a radio? You don't need to spend that much money on a radio. It's like, yeah, but it's my money and I get to do whatever the hell damn well I want with it.
Right.
So I think that's one other point. Is like, hey, you should do it cheap, and we don't have to. Certain things go into a teacher conference. You can't do that. You can't do that on the cheap. You have to do it right.
Well, I think he's pointing out 4 people are on the payroll of the ARRL right now to support ARRL education, which, I mean, we already heard one of those persons is like the logistics person that gets things shipped around, including the TA bundles and the things that are left for teachers, and they're fundamentally vital, and they can't even keep up with the traffic that's coming to them because they're growing, right? So the fact that the thing is growing and being successful, again, we already have Everett, we already have Evan, we already have a number of people that are already very successful from the TI. You're like, okay, well, what are we really arguing about? The mere fact it exists, or where are we going? So allow Dick to continue.
Having a few teachers' institutes, seeing whether things work is fine. The change of converting the ARRL from sort of serving its members to stop serving the members, spending an awful lot of money on this, raising the dues to where we're losing.
Okay. Pausing because we just fulfilled the prophecy. He's implying that because the Teachers Institute got more money, that you lost your magazines. That's what he's trying to imply here. I don't think
You paused about 5 seconds too early.
Okay, here we go. Okay, all right, here we go, Frank.
Losing significant numbers of members is not fine. There is an organization, ARDC.
There you go. Stop there.
I mean, okay. ARRL losing members is because they got rid of the magazine. Like, straight up. Like, I don't think anybody questions that. Like, that's why they lost members. If you don't get a free magazine, yes, people are like, sure, I'm not going to pay anymore. I don't know. You can't get around that. Like, that's a true argument. But I don't know. I don't know where you go from there. That's it.
This next part is a doozy.
All right, here we go, Frank.
The group that sold internet addresses to Amazon for over $100 million. I think they probably have like $150 million now. They're a private foundation. They have to give 5% of their money away every year. They have to pay taxes on it. So they're giving grants out between like $6 and $9 million a year.
That's
they
good.
ought to be funding something like this. Our entire ARRL education department, in my thought, should be transferred over to ARDC and let them handle it.
Okay. Was that where you're going, Frank? Because
that is exactly, yeah.
Okay. The ARDC, much love and respect to everybody that's doing what they're doing at the ARDC. They are not technically professionals. They are stewards of a large sum of money and how they dole it out. They're more looking at proposals and how people want to spend this money. Some of them are hams. A lot of them may be hams. And they're trying to do their best to, like, you know, how do we line this up with the proposal? The education of anyone in terms of amateur radio should come from the ARRL. Am I wrong here? Like, does anybody disagree with me on this? Go ahead, anyone.
Have you looked at the comments on this guy?
I haven't looked at the comments yet. Should I?
I went through them.
No, let's not go there yet.
Well, okay, but there's a lot of people that are agreeing with him because they don't like, even Rhea, that because they don't like what the ARRL or David Minster's doing.
Sure. Look,
and so he's fighting David Minster, and including one of the bylaws that these people are talking about, bylaw 5046, which was basically going to give the directors the ability to hide certain things they're doing because they want to. They don't think there's any reason to publish it. And he fought against it. So a lot of people think he's a hero. So I don't know.
Question?
Okay, that's not where we're going here, Don, but like...
I get it, but I'm just saying there's some support that he's getting from things that... Because I do agree this guy is totally... He is too far out of... He's been...
By the way,
in a bubble too long.
I'm not in support of any of the other stuff like that Don mentioned. We're not talking about that. We're literally talking about the Teachers Institute. That's my biggest point here, right? That's the point we're talking about. We'd have to make a separate video to go through all the rest of that stuff. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm willing to do
next week on Ham Radio Crash.
Yeah, I'm willing to do it, but like this is not the point. I wanted to really focus on the Teachers Institute because that's like, you know, the last stream, and we spent a lot of time, Mike and I. We worked really hard. We love Steve, and we love what he's doing. Couple of dollars. We're gonna put it down for you, for the children,
for the kids,
for the kids. Yeah, there you go. Mike is much better at the walk-in than I am.
I can't anymore.
No, what do you mean you can't anymore? You just did.
I can't. Nah, that was terrible. That wasn't even. I don't know what that was, but I'm not calling that a walk-in. Hit the play button. I think there might have been a comment.
Well, no, hold on. Go ahead, Mark. You had a comment.
No, I was just going to say if any YouTubers this week cover this in their streams and they want to invite me on to cuss at this guy because I can't do it here anymore, just let me know. I'm here for you.
I'll scream profanities at Dick.
Mark, I will have my censor button at the ready for you.
Douglas, I hate that you're right, and at the same time, it's like you got no other way, man. That's the thing that sucks. If you want to make an organization, see, this is the thing, right? Like, Hiram Percy Maxim, look at his freaking hair. That guy looks like he is out of his mind. And he's like, what if we got all the hams together and we did like a whole society
man built machine guns and silencers in his backyard.
And like, I built guns and I'm going to put all the ham radio people together, brother. Like, he was literally Hulk Hogan in that day. Like, and brought everybody together, make the entire ARRL, and then here we are. It takes one crazy person to do something, and it takes a lot of milquetoast, boring people to like ruin it. And that's a lot of the feel I get from Dick when it comes to a lot of stuff. After talking to him personally and challenging him personally on these claims, again, I must reiterate, I've been to 3 talks that Dick has done, and every time I'm like, bro, like, give me the receipts. Like, just give me the receipts. Like, tell me who is doing these things. He hasn't started doing this yet. He hasn't meant Steve or referenced someone vaguely. I don't know, but anyway, Frank, how much further is this one? Should we keep going or?
He's almost done with it. The ARDC bit was the last full bit of the TI before he moved on. You'll know when he's over.
Comment real quick.
To do so and the need to.
Go ahead, comment.
What it's kind of crazy that you were talking about this here now, because at my amateur radio club meeting a few days ago was this exact topic, but we're in like middle of nowhere Midwest, and maybe what Dick's not realizing, I'm sure this is happening out where you guys are too, but our amateur radio club actually has received grant money from people like the ARDC and other organizations interested in STEM at schools to put amateur radio on the spotlight, which then helps buy-in for these schools at the TI, or to get to want to send teachers to the TI. So the ARDC is already helping with this, just not in the direct way that he's thinking.
Well, I think the mere fact they exist pisses him off. Is I think the point that he's trying to make is that like they should not exist. We got to go back to print magazines because that's what
Old
the people
man
want.
yells at cloud.
Yeah. So all right, let's see if
sorry,
there's some more here.
Yeah,
go ahead,
Josh,
Tom.
One second. When you said he's saying they shouldn't exist, you're saying they should be what shouldn't exist. I just want to make sure I understood you.
The TI, the Teachers Institute.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I thought you meant ARDC. Okay, thank you. Okay.
No, I think he's trying to say that like Steve and the 4 people that are direct budget, like charging to the ARRL, should not exist. I think that's what the point he's trying to make, which to me is insane. Is insane.
To spend money that
hey,
way,
when all this is over, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go. You go.
No, I just had a stupid comment. Go ahead.
Okay.
In line with what their objectives are. One of the objectives of the league is to certainly service youngsters and get them in, but not to the extent, as far as I'm concerned, to destroying it where we're losing members like, a ship with a hole in it.
Okay.
And that's the end of it there, Josh.
So
you're good.
How does he connect those two things? Right? He is connecting outreach to children in education and STEM through teachers to losing members. How does that turn into losing members? It doesn't. It doesn't.
The teachers and the children and the members were all on the same boat, and the boat is sinking.
Well,
horrible argument.
His point is
terrible.
His point is going back to what we said before. His point is that because they have these 4 people and they have to, Steve wants to eat, I'm sure, and the other 3 people want to eat as well because they need, they're doing jobs for money, which most people do jobs for money.
Sure.
They're doing jobs for money, and they, because of that, if they weren't there, then the league would have this other pot of money they were using to pay them that they could give them their damn magazine back. That's his point, and therefore they wouldn't lose members if they got their magazine back. That's his point. Ultimately, what it comes down to.
But it's a fallacy. That's not why that happened. That is getting high on your own supply and connecting X and alpha in different character sets on different keyboards.
That's not why. It's just because some old man yells at a cloud and screams, "Oh, if we did X, Y, and Z, we'd get MLP back." That's not how that is. He's literally just speaking out of his ass in all of this.
We all agree with that, but remember his audience. His audience there are the people that he's sitting and looking at are the ones that want the magazine back. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
They can pay more.
Talk to the guys at Cortfest then.
I do. I fight OMs regularly.
Well, so, you're not doing it hard enough.
So I have talked to people that are Dick Norton fans, and they think he's spitting the truth. And I ask them questions about this kind of stuff, and they're like, man, I pay for the magazine. I want to get the magazine, and I say things like Levi said. It's like, hey man, in the world we exist in today, there are not as many people that want the magazine. Like, it doesn't exist. So you got to pay a little bit more. And they're like, well, I don't want to pay a little bit more. And it's like, okay, well, so now we're in an impasse. The point, though, is that nothing to do with the magazine has anything to do with the Teachers Institute and the education of young people to bring them into the community. And I think that's one of the fundamental problems that he's doing. And I think why I'm not a fan of Dick is specifically this kind of point. You can find money elsewhere to pay for a magazine. Dick, go find money else. Like, if you want to doge up the ARRL to find money to get the magazine to people, go get off your butt and go do it. But if you start attacking, hold on, I'm not done. If you start attacking young people getting into the hobby via a thing that is proven as been effective, I'm going to fight you. I'm going to fight you on it, and I'm going to vote you out. So go ahead.
Here's the fun thing about it. Earlier in the Q&A that he did here that Randy filmed, he touted how the ARRL has $37 million saved up, and it would be ridiculous to spend $1.7 million on sending out magazines to just a handful of people. And then he goes and spews this.
I tried to have this conversation. Okay, I'm gonna change point here for a second. I tried to have this conversation with Dick. The ARRL owns property. They have vested value in things like property and funds that they've invested in. Because why would you not? If you have a huge membership and you have money, why would you not invest it in something or put it in property or whatever? They don't have liquid money, which is crazy to me because he's an engineer. He's a retired engineer. Dick is a retired engineer that has worked in aerospace, and he doesn't understand the difference between tied-up assets and liquid assets. You do not have the money to just throw at the thing you want to throw at. You have to plan for that, and you have to do the work that has to be done to get it liquid to be able to throw it at the thing you want to do. And that hasn't happened. Because he's just complaining. He just goes on these soapboxes and makes a big rant, and then there you go. So
Josh, one other point on that, and that is that I talked to Dave in Orlando.
Which Dave?
Minster.
And, how'd that go? I'm sure he loved this conversation.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we went out to a whole bunch of us went out to dinner, and so I Thursday night before, so I got to go out. So we were so what's interesting is we were talking about we were talking about this stuff, and he said, one of the things that people don't quite get is the ARRL, their development office that Mary Hobart started, has been very successful, and they've brought in a lot of money. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that Dave said you have to always remember is a lot of our funds, a lot of those donations are what's called directed donations, for example.
They're stewards of funds. They're stewards of funds.
Yeah, well, yes, but there's one more piece to it. And the point is that, like, for example, Mike Valentine donated before he passed away. He donated a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Those funds, you're sort of directing them. Like when I give money to the Diamond Club, for example, I can say, okay, I want it to go into the general fund, or I can say I want it to go into the WNAW fund.
As I have done myself. Yep.
Education and technology. The last 3 or 4 times, it's always been education and technology.
Same here, bud. Same here.
The point is, it's directed. So so we can't say, well, hey, you got all this money you raised. Well, you should go ahead and put that towards QSTs. So we can't, because it's directed funds that we the donors have said, well, that's great, but I want you to spend it on in this fund. I don't want you to spend it on W1AW or on the general fund. So that's. People kind of miss that point with all the donated funds. So that's rolled up in some of the assets they have.
So you're totally right, and he should know better because he's on the board of directors. I want to be really clear what we're talking about here. This is a man that is on the board of directors for the ARRL. He votes where the money goes. He votes what happens at the ARRL. The only reason why his impact is not larger is because a lot of directors don't vote in his majority. They don't vote with him because they're like, this is crazy. So like I'm literally doing city council BS right now. Like I feel like I got to play the as Cerritos turns like auto drop for the podcast right now.
Hot take.
Go ahead, Levi.
He may actually know where the money's going. He just wants to be disingenuous to whip up the concaphony of OMs in front of him into a frenzy to where they think he's a messiah. He most likely knows where all of this money is going, and he most likely knows all of the nuances of how most of the value of the ARRL is held in locked endowments and its delegated funds and its property.
Levi,
you can't explain that nuance to people.
Levi, I don't want to go down this conspiracy theory road with you, but this is a man who actually, like, I'm not going to go into his accolades. I know what he's worked on as an engineer. He's an accomplished
they all go
engineer.
Crazy eventually.
He's an
accomplished eventually.
He's an accomplished engineer, so I don't think his faculties are gone. I think he knows exactly what's going on. So I don't know.
What I'm saying. He knows exactly what he's doing. I think he's just doing it to be disingenuous and whip the people in front of him into a frenzy, saying, if you got rid of that education, I could give you your QSTs.
That's so unethical, though. It's unethical.
This is his political platform. Right? Yeah, he's a politician. This is how he thinks he will stay in his position. This is his platform.
Those are his voters.
But I don't know that I don't know that his voters are even ready for the message. Like when they sit down,
right?
Like again, Digital Rancher. I don't know how long you've been hanging out, but like Dick Norton will show up at these events, and he'll have a slideshow. We didn't have a slideshow for Quartz Fest, but like I went to his Visalia event. I'll talk about the Visalia event briefly because I think I have it on my phone. But like he will just make this huge hit piece on slides against the ARRL. And he has like a captive audience because they came to hear about what the ARRL is doing. And all he's doing is talking trash about the ARRL. Like that's all he's doing. In Visalia last year, we had we had everybody. We had the CEO, we had the president of the ARRL in the audience. And what happened was when they went to questions, so after he got done like spilling all his stuff and going through all the slides, there was a question in the mic was passed around. And the question was, how does the ARRL respond to all these claims you're making? And that allowed David Minster to step up and take the mic and actually start responding. But hypothetically, because that Hamfest was the Southwest headquarters Hamfest, or whatever they call it, that was his Hamfest, and that no one hypothetically should be allowed to speak. So Dick is using his like mic only, I'm the only one allowed to talk kind of rules that the ARRL has to prevent people from disagreeing with him. That's one of the big problems I have too, is that like he doesn't have an open mic night where people will allow him to like be criticized for the takes he's taking, if you will.
Well, okay, so he did have a Q&A session after that was the second half of the video.
Yeah.
And nobody questioned the TI in particular, but he was tossed some good questions. But guaranteed, if I had been down there this year, I would have been like, "Whoa, hold on a second, receipts now, bro," because 1 and 1 is not equaling 2. I am a huge supporter of Steve and TI, as you and Mike both know, and I would have been like, "Hold on, this isn't adding up here."
Do you have a favorite question that I can pull up? I'll pull it up in the timestamp if you got it.
I did not go that far. Okay. I got to the end of that and went, "Oh, that's absolutely."
Yeah, this
was like those 5, and that's the perfect one.
I've listened to multiples of his talks in person. By the way, just for anybody that I will just be open. I will use the term again. I'll be open kimono about this. So I was in Visalia, California, and I saw his talk about the ARRL. I was there when David Minster stood up and tried to refute his claims. And then months later in Hamvention, I was at the Hope Hotel, and he found me, and he said, "Hey, I want to talk to you about your thoughts on my talk at Visalia," because he knew I was there. And so he pulled me aside, and I think I was in that room with that guy for 2+ hours talking to him. And I gave it to him straight.
It was almost 3. It was almost 3 hours.
Yeah, because Kyle was pissed. This led to oh geez, what was it? It was Sterling when we rolled back into the
because me and you talked about this afterwards. You were like, "What did I just get out of?"
Dude, I got stuck talking to Dick for hours, and I told him, I'm like, "Dick, listen, I'm an engineer. You're an engineer. You can't just come up and start throwing out these slides and not have evidence for it. You got a lot of claims, but you don't got a lot of evidence. You have to back this stuff up with evidence. As an engineer, it's just not acceptable." And I would hope that you know that, particularly from the engineering that he came from, of that time. You gotta, if you're putting a slide up behind you, you're staking your life on it. You're saying, yes, this is accurate. And I don't believe that any of his claims are accurate. I think that he's just throwing out drama. It's literally just drama tea that he's throwing out all over the place. So literally hours I spent with this guy talking to him. Finally, I got out of there. And then that's pretty much the end of the story. Kyle's like, "What the hell, man? Where were you at?" Levi apparently knew where I was, but there you go. It was the Hope Hotel. Everything happens at Hamvention. It is a wild place to be. How do we move on from here? Is that it? No.
I have an arbitrary question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just for this guy. Mm-hmm. And I genuinely don't know the answer to this. It's just a hypothetical question. But let's just say I was licensed. Hang on. I was licensed in 2016. I just want to preface that with that. So prior to Teachers Institute, what has the ARRL done to actively get people licensed?
Mm-hmm.
For me, and I can only speak for myself, I did not know what ARRL was. I did not learn of ham radio because of ARRL. I did not study my technician because of ARRL's books, nothing. I knew nothing of the ARRL until after I was licensed. So the ARRL, in terms of their marketing and what this guy is saying, ARRL, in my opinion, does absolutely nothing prior to Teachers Institute to actually get people licensed. It's kind of like, in my experience, the ARRL, my membership was like very similar to you buy your first gun, and then all of a sudden, a week later, you get a letter in the mail from the NRA asking you to join them. That was my experience.
Yes, that is kind of the universal experience.
So they're not, the ARRL is not in my limited knowledge of being licensed for less than 10 years. They weren't actively engaged. They've been more a defense of our spectrum and a creator of magazines that old people enjoy to read.
Right.
They were reactive, not proactive.
100%. They still are. But now they're starting. They're starting to be proactive.
They have been able to subsist on reacting, and so now they have to start to break away from that a little bit. And so, Mike, go ahead. You're already going to make that point.
And again, just kind of like it's a hypothetical question. There's a question and a story in there, but that's just my experience. In my ham radio journey with the ARRL. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that's just what it is. Hang on. Now, they're actively 403 new licensees from one single teacher.
One
teacher.
Through
TI.
One
Just
teacher.
one. Just one. That's probably 403 more amateur radios that now are licensed than the ARRL has ever done in the entire history of the ARRL.
100%.
I have spoken. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I just have a quick question.
You're totally right. Go ahead with the question.
So my question is, Mike, what region are you from?
Well, I have an 8 call.
But I mean this in all literal sense. What region? Where in the U.S. are you from?
Division in the ARRL.
Michigan, Detroit, whatever that is.
Okay,
he's in Texas.
I'm not there now. That's where I'm from.
So I'm from Region 1, New England region, where literally ARRL is a headquarters. It's an hour drive from me. I was literally there this morning, met with Steve, shook his hand, all that. For me, as a ham, literally tomorrow's my 1 year in. ARRL is literally everything in Region 1. So if you are a ham, you're going through ARRL. They reach out, like we have members who are friends with or bodied with somehow related to ARRL. So for us in New England, we see a lot more of the influence, mainly because the headquarters is here. So I can see why in other regions, not New England, suddenly it's a huge, like, what is ARRL seemingly doing?
Comment?
Yes.
Go ahead, comment.
So I got licensed just over a year ago, and my experience reflects Mike's almost exactly.
Okay.
But also, let's say if N1, I didn't see the whole call sign there. If his point is to be taken and we run with it, make them the New England Radio Relay League, and let's have something else that actually is active for the whole rest of the country.
No, okay, hold on.
Can I comment?
So,
Baby and bathwater comes to mind.
No, I'm going to step in. I'm going to step in for a second.
Okay, got it.
So there's a reason why you coordinate at the national level. There is no point in my mind where I think the ARRL should not exist. Like that there is no point in my mind where I think that the ARRL is not value added. I picked up a phone and I talked to somebody about dealing with RFI, and I literally sent a message to Laura from the FCC and got forwarded to the ARRL because they do the work for RFI mitigation. They put the reports together. They build all of that to help you ham radio operators, work with the FCC to get things fixed to get rid of RFI problems. That's one value point. That is literally a phone number that you can pick up and talk to someone at the ARRL about this, right? You get the bureau, you get the logging system. I'm not even going to try to list them all because I'm not going to remember, because it doesn't matter. The ARRL exists for multiple reasons. They have multiple value points. They exist in our government to try and protect our access to frequencies. And honestly, really just make sure we're like owning up to our agreements to the ITU, the International Telecommunications Union, that we've already signed up to agree to. Like the FCC is just trying to align with agreements that we've made at the international level, which is good because we should be balancing how we work with the electromagnetic space, right?
No, so I agree with all those points.
Okay.
My suggestion was, if we're going to compare their level of visibility and action and momentum in the New England region to how void that is in the rest of the country, there is definitely a disconnect there. So I don't think that one thing, while it was well presented, that's not really an argument for the ARRL in the context of how this is a national conversation.
Here's my biggest gripe against the ARRL. I will give it to you right now. This is it. Trust me, bro. It's all good. I think that we live in a world where you can put a camera on and you can walk people through every part of the ARRL. You can make a video about it. You can become a big YouTuber if you do these kinds of things. Show people what is going on with the ARRL. Go to W1AW. Show people activating the radio station that you can all activate as members. You can go there right now. Show how they review radios. Like, go through the whole process. Show it. And then that removes all doubt. Because then you just say, like, bro, didn't you see my video that I made like 2 weeks ago showing what I do? Here it is. This is it. This is what we do. I'm showing you what we do. We have tens of thousands of dollars of equipment. We've been keeping up with technology to show you what the best equipment is in radio. And making that a part of our articles, which you can get online or you can pay more for print. Like just show people. If you show people, it removes everything. It removes all doubt. Because then everybody's like, oh, no, yeah, this is literally what they're doing. We have no argument because they literally showed us what they're doing. They're not doing it. Yeah.
Josh, I sent you something in in our messages. You might want to look at it. It's quite interesting. And it's along the lines of ARRL, but not ARRL.
Oh.
It's interesting. I was in Dayton. I was at a thing at the Wright-Patterson, they did at the Wright-Patterson Museum. And we had one of the speaker there was talking about the Newington Amateur Radio Club, and the Newington Amateur Radio Club had been struggling. They were down to like 14 members. Was his point? Mm-hmm. And this guy had a program to I forget the guy's name. He's a doctor from W1. He's from Yale. I forget his name, but he had this point where he had this program to help struggling clubs, and Newington said, no, we don't need to do that. And then I guess they lost enough members that they said, oh yeah, we need some help. So that was the Newington Club. And I only say that because not to say, oh, it's in New England too. It's in their backyard, obviously. But the point is that the directors, because the ARRL is broken up into divisions, for those that may not know, right? So, and the directors in those divisions and the section managers, it all needs to be a concerted effort to get clubs to illustrate, hey, why do you want to join the ARRL? That just takes care of the club part. Josh's point about do things on YouTube, because I just did a test. I searched for ham radio on DuckDuckGo, and after the 3 ads that popped up, the ARRL, what is ham radio, was the 6th or 7th entry beyond. You had to go past HRO and DX engineering. You just search for the words ham space radio. So the search engine optimization clearly needs a little help. But the point is that yes, I think Josh, what you're saying would make perfect sense. That they should be streaming the studios at W1AW so people can see people on the air and see exactly what that is.
I've already talked to David Minster. I've given him notes. I've given it to Steve. I've given it to multiple people. I think that the ARRL would value from just being a little bit more open with how they're doing a lot of what they do. I think that like it brings us all together a little bit. Like, show everybody like the secrets. It's not really secret. It's technology. We all know how it works. We just don't necessarily have the money to pay for a lot of this stuff. So show us how it works, and make videos about it. You like, I think I said this to David, actually. I think I said the fact that I am a bigger YouTuber than the ARRL is shocking to me, because you have a staff of people that could be the biggest YouTubers. You have access to the most things. You have access to the best technical people. You have access to, like, so many aspects of our hobby that I don't have access to. The fact that I am one of the biggest is, like, how am I here? To me, that's crazy. So go ahead, comment.
So
one of the most memorable ARRL videos that have been put out in the recent past was one of Steve Goodgame's kids as an intern. And
Jerica is her name. Yeah, she's great.
But why isn't that done on a regular basis by professionals, not the intern? Oh, you got an assignment. I did an internship. I get it.
You already made it more complicated. Give the intern the camera. Let her make the video. Go nuts. Like,
but it was one. It was just a shot in the dark. It was just one video, and they didn't carry on with it.
So that's
there's
the
no
thing.
follow through.
So that's the thing. I believe that if you were to scale things on, like, our licenses, like, I don't know what Jerica is now. I think she might be a general. But there's so many different spaces that we exist in as, like, accomplished hams, very confident hams. Like, you put me in the middle of a field with some wire, I'll put some antenna up, right? But most hams won't feel that way, right? There's a video aspect for every one of those groups of people. And I think the ARRL should be the one to amplify those voices. The fact that I'm doing it by myself just means that I'm just a guy with a camera. The ARRL has actually so much more, like, access to people of totally different talent areas, and they should just be putting all those videos up. Just put them all up.
Comment.
Jerica's actually an extra.
Is she an extra now? Yeah, I love Jerica. Great job, man. Or great job, Jerica. Thank you. All right. So what was the next comment?
In reality, ARRL has posted 17 videos in the last 30 days on their YouTube channel.
That's pretty good. That's more than most of you do. That's more than most of you do.
In the last year, they've hired multiple staff members who are under the age of 50, so they can start expanding on that. They're working on it. They get what they're doing. That's why they hired Max, who's in here, N4ML, to do things like that.
Max
it just
here?
takes time.
We got Max in the house?
Yeah, Max hangs out with me in contests. He's the other psychotic one. But yeah, Max N4ML is one of the workers in the Teachers Institute. He's like 22.
Yeah, comment on that actually.
Oh, go ahead, comment on that actually, please.
I would say Max has done more for the ARRL. Talking to folks and explaining some of the ups and downs interagency wise, even for his young age, especially for folks in this server. If you haven't had a chance to talk to Max and pick his brain about the inner workings of their program and what it is they do, I had a very negative opinion of the ARRL before I met Max. After meeting Max and talking with him on some of the finer points, he actually convinced me that although I'm not a paying member, I'm not belligerently against their program.
Max convinced me to keep my ARRL membership.
Wow,
Max convinced me to keep my membership.
Where's Max?
He's not
in the chat?
He's not in right. He's not in right now.
If Max is keeping Levi's money going to the ARRL, that's something. That's something right there. That's amazing.
Let me see if I can poke him.
Yeah, I mean, hey, no offense. Don't let it go to his head. He's a young guy, right?
Don't bother Max. He's doing
don't
stuff.
bother Max. Don't.
Yeah,
for the group, sales jobs for the ARRL.
Are there sales jobs? Actually, Mike,
that's what you're talking about right
sales,
now. This guy's going out selling stuff for the ARRL.
Mike would be a fantastic salesperson for the ARRL. I just want to say that. I'll throw that out.
He already is.
Well, look, okay.
I would not say that. No.
We do a fundraiser a year. Mike did an amazing job. Look how much money.
No, but I'm talking about like being a commissioned salesperson for the ARRL.
Oh, he'd be hustling
and just selling stuff in the amateur. It would be like I'm not a doctor. You know, I'm just a medical equipment salesman. Those guys make bank. Dude, if I was an ARRL salesman, I'd do the same thing.
Yeah, but that's a slippery slope, right? Once you start getting into the retail space.
They are hiring.
My whole life is retail.
They're hiring. They're hiring a sales manager.
I know. I just saw it in the chat. Somebody, Amateur Radio on the Road, said that. He's like, they want to hire a sales manager that is 100% in-house. Well, guess who's a sales manager?
That's
He's got
you,
two
bud.
thumbs and he looks like me.
You
Guess
can
who
work
ain't
with
moving
Steve.
to Newington, Connecticut?
You can work with
ain't moving
Steve,
to
man.
Connecticut.
Literally, my son has a green shirt on.
Honestly,
okay.
Steve's not even on his coffee now, so working with him probably wouldn't be as fun.
Somebody's been trying to get in a while.
Go ahead.
I got a comment.
Go ahead. What's the question?
So I've been wondering, like, should I join the ARRL or not?
Yes, you should. Well, wait, I take that back. Hold on. You're a younger person, obviously. It's not an inexpensive cost. It's not, so you can join on the website, but like actually being a member, I think it's like $80 now. So you just got your technician license. There might be a path for you getting a free membership to the ARRL, like through donor hams that are willing to pay for that. I think that exists. I think that exists. I could be wrong. Somebody correct me in the chat.
It does. It does exist. Yeah, they just at the last board meeting they had, or the board meeting before, they had approved to do a fund to get the new people, younger people into the essentially give them free memberships. I don't think they're voting, but they're not voting members, but I think they get all the benefits of except voting.
Is there a link to that
Isn't it free for you?
Is it free for me? No, not at all. I pay.
No, you.
Yes,
the youth.
Yeah.
The youth.
Yes, if you're, I think if you're under, I think it's 21 or something like that.
It's under free student membership is for under 21s. I'm sending it in chat right now.
If you guys have questions for Max, just let me know. I'll relay them to him.
Max, why are you so cool?
17.
For me, I literally speak to him every day.
Josh, he's in a data limited area. That's why.
Max, why are you so cool? Like, are you? That was my question. But all right.
Yeah, why did he come to Alaska and not visit?
The person who said they were 17, yes, that you do qualify for that free membership for the ARRL.
Are there like Zoom meetings you have to do?
Zoom meetings for the ARRL? No, you're good.
It's not a job.
No, like I wonder if there's like anything you can do, like any activities you can do, like remotely.
That's a good idea.
It's a good idea, but no, it doesn't exist right now.
No, this is a great question, right? This is the question. So here's a young person who's asking, should I join the ARRL? Why? What do I get out of it?
Yeah, that's true. Digital Rancher, you're not
On the
wrong.
Air is a pretty good magazine. For starters, I mean, On the Air is pretty good.
Well, okay, I take that back. So Digital Rancher, your question is good. The problem is that the ARRL is like the national entity of radio.
Right.
So, like, they have to go to the website if they want to know where the next club meeting is going to be. Or if they want to know where field day is going to be.
But it doesn't invalidate the question. What benefit is it for this young person to join? Why would they join?
It's only a pro. It's free.
My point was to start with at that level especially when you're just starting out. I mean, you're not going to get into the regulatory side of things. When you're just starting out, if you don't have, hopefully you don't have RFI problems and things like that. But when you're just starting out, generally the first, people's intro to the ARRL is either somebody says, hey, here's a magazine. You want it yourself? You can go ahead and join. Or get it online now. But my point was, On the Air, I was referencing their sort of intro level magazine versus QST. You can get either one of them online. But I was just referencing On the Air. That's
you realize you're supporting Dick's premise here, right, from the earlier conversation, right?
Please.
That comment says it's all about the magazine.
No, that's not my point. Is I think you missed the nuance of my point. My point was that when your foot in the door. I'll say it this way: your foot in the door tends to be most people. I think most people's foot in the door to the ARRL is historically it was QST. I'm not saying I'm not making an argument about whether you need it online or in print. I'm not making that argument. But I'm saying their first foray into it, the first thing they're going to get is they have resources that they can use some of those resources. Just a point about that. That's sort of the first thing into it.
We're rambling a little bit. So, Digital Rancher, you make a really good point. I don't know that there is like a youth, like, oh yeah, I'm a young guy. I found ham radio. Here's what to do. I think Steve was talking about that. That's like a part of the curriculum. That's a part ARRL education. So you make one account, and then you have access to multiple videos that go through a series of educational topics. And then up to the point of like literally having a curriculum for schools for STEM. Like that doesn't exist right now. So I see what you're saying. And I think that's what they're working on. At least I think Steve's working on that.
I will mention this. I think so too. And I'm just playing the devil's advocate here, right?
No,
it's
it's
like,
a good question.
Why would a young guy want to join?
Right.
Why would a young person want to join? And I mean, there should be something there for them. It shouldn't be a difficult question for us to answer.
Well, it used to be that when you were joining the ARRL, the whole point was that you're getting support for the club that you're going to join, because what they're doing is they're listing all of the clubs in your area. You would pick one of those ARRL affiliated clubs, and they're helping your club, and you being a member means the club gets a bump. So that used to be what it meant. I don't think it does anymore. Yes.
It does,
obviously. But, and by the way, when I started in amateur radio 30 some odd years ago at least, then yes, the ARRL was front and center, and I knew about them long before I even started down the road of ARRL getting a license. In fact, all of the books that I had, because Gordon West was hard to find, was the ARRL books, which were every Radio Shack had them. So we knew about ARRL, and we studied ARRL. That's generally how we got practice for our licenses, doing tests that they released or that were available through various methods of downloading the software back then for your IBM XT and things like that. So it was much more prevalent when I was first licensed.
So I will say this. I'm sorry, Josh. I do see Amanda in the chat. Good evening, Amanda. She says,
"Good evening, Amanda."
And this is for the youth that asked. It is free for students under 21. You have no voting rights, which is fine. That's how it is. And tomorrow, she's on her way to the Youth on the Air camp to help sign youths up for the ARRL, since she is the section manager.
Yes, and support Amanda. Continue to support Amanda. We love Amanda. All right, so Mike, I bought the sour challenge, sour thing, and Edison wants to try one of them. So I don't know what the least sour option is here. Like, can you?
Nobody does.
Huh?
Give me the most.
Nobody does. There isn't a least.
I want some.
So we don't know. If I just pull one of these out of here, he could getting the most.
I want the most. Well,
yeah, because there's like two blacks. Now I'm kind of slightly colorblind, so your results may vary, but I don't think one is going to be bad.
No, but if I give him like I want the lowest sour amount to give him.
There isn't.
They're
it's
all
just it starts at ludicrous speed, and
Are you ready for this? You want to try this?
If
you want the highest?
Josh,
I don't know
I
don't know what the highest is. So can I just give you one?
It doesn't matter.
Hey, Josh.
Mike was his children
Josh.
live on YouTube.
Yeah. Well,
Josh,
I'm with
before
him.
you do that,
Yeah.
before you do that, your wife asked a fun question here in the chat. Why would Ben, and extend this to Edison too, why would they want to join the ARRL?
To get mega sour candies.
No, to get scholarships and grants. That's literally
Yes.
why Leia wants them to join ARRL. All right.
Quick comment.
So I think that you should eat that yellow one. I think the yellow
Josh,
one.
in honesty, like there was differences in the sours.
No.
But they're all
No.
a couple of them had more sour in the
Okay.
center, some of them didn't.
I know that this is going to touch his mouth, and I'm going to put it in my mouth because he's not going to want to eat it. So
Because of how sour it is?
Yeah, this is the most sour thing that's ever been made.
It's just
No, it's sour.
Comment.
The yellow one. Yellow one.
there's a
There
yellow
we
and
go.
red one. That was the
You gonna eat it?
watermelon,
You
I
put the whole
think.
thing
I
in
don't
your
know.
mouth?
Just go, man. Yeah, you gotta just go.
Comment.
It's not chewy.
No, they're hard old people candies that are soured
good?
with death.
Oh, this is not bad. Okay,
And,
I'm going to take a red.
Hey, Josh.
I'm going to take a red.
Put me in, bro.
That red for Ben.
Wait for it. Wait for it. There it comes.
It's sour.
Ooh, you can see his eyeballs.
My teeth feel weird. My teeth feel like they're softening up.
It's sour.
Right now, your mouth is dissolving.
What?
Ben's done. He bailed out. Are you done?
Edison, stop drinking.
Ben said, I have lockjaw. Oh, yeah, stop drinking. You can't drink
Yeah, you can't be drinking while you're doing this.
Yeah.
He's diluting all the sour. You gotta.
He drank all my Diet Coke.
Your children have a drinking problem, Josh.
I'm gonna look at like a lot.
Hey,
It's not
Josh,
sour
Leia, I am 100% that person. The word can't is the only word in the English dictionary that I despise.
100% agree, Mike.
What about moist?
I can't agree with
Ben,
you, Mike.
Ben is still licking slowly. You're good.
He's licking slowly the moist ointment.
If there's any questions
Oh,
for
that's
Max,
nasty,
let me
Mike.
know.
I've always wanted
That's not bad.
this sour.
We will.
That's not bad.
I have a comment to make about the earlier statement about what ARRL does in the Connecticut area.
Go ahead, side boom.
So this isn't advocating for Walmart, but I've been in the Bentonville area where they're headquartered out of, and what Walmart does for that area over there is vastly more than what they do for anywhere else in the world, but that's where they're headquarters, so that kind of makes sense. So if you can be in that one area and touch those people easier, it's easier to see their interactions in that area than they are to see elsewhere in the world, or in the United States, I should say. So, I mean, with that comment that was made earlier, just keep that in mind. Like, yeah, it's easier for them to do stuff with those people because they're there.
I don't think that precludes being a national organization just because you're headquartered in one particular place. I mean, you got to be headquartered somewhere.
Correct, but they can do more in that headquartered area because that's where everyone's at.
That's where their resources are. That's where they can focus a lot of their effort. That's where the day-to-days are going to see the most turn back.
Right. So that was my comment, and it was primarily to say those two aren't really correlated. What they do for the area is one thing. What they do for all amateurs across the country, that shouldn't really be equated. But what about all the various sections and the rest of the infrastructure? We can have little miniature of what they do in Newington centered around the other parts of the country where they have headquarters.
Vote better section leadership. That'd be the change you want to see.
Okay, hold on.
Vote them out.
So vote better section leadership. How does one even know what and how that works as an outsider looking?
Join the ARRL. Secondly, wait till the next election when they send you a mail ballot. Congratulations, you now get to vote.
Well, but wait, hold on.
If I can add to that.
Hold
if
on.
I can add to that.
To answer the question, you have to go to the events where that director is at. You need to hear them talk. You need to hear them. You need to, whatever it is, like whether they're on YouTube or they're at the event only, you got to go hear them talk. Like, I get it. It's not going to be easy, like, at every time throughout the year. But, yeah, that's kind of what you have to do. How else would you know to vote for somebody or not?
Yeah,
Like, I mean, to be 100% honest with you, like, one thing I learned is that, like, all the people who were up for re-election, at least in New England, came to our meetings. I understand that's not capable, like, in a lot of places because just the geographic distance between New England's kind of small, but that's kind of something that happened in our region. So I got to meet both people who were up for re-election.
So I can also say it like this. You can also go out and do something like I've done. I just kind of worked my way up, being in the position that I am working for the school district, and I'm advocating my local area to bring new hams in. Whether it be, and I'm not saying left or right, with or without ARRL, it all takes us to make sure that we're bringing the next generation in, and that's what all I'm trying to do with starting, getting the Teachers Institute into Louisiana, into my district, and learning a better way to teach the kids, but also bringing those kids in so they'll have a place to partake in amateur radio.
Yeah, one point is I know there's diverse opinions about the value of local clubs in this group, but I think I also believe that finding the right club for you, I'll just say it that way, and the right club, local club, and doing things to helping, because you'll hear about things that way. Even if you're not a member, you'll hear about things, and obviously you're not going to vote if you're not a member of the ARRL. But you'll certainly hear about section managers and things like that. You can ask questions and form your own opinions. But I think supporting local clubs and finding the ones that aren't just sitting around arguing about Robert's Rules of Order and drinking coffee, and clubs that are supporting new people and that do seem a little forward thinking. Our clubs use. We have a giant Slack instance with 150 members in our club. And so we have a really so I think there's things that you can do with sort of new things that it's not just the old stuff where it has to be groups IO, but I think supporting local clubs is a big deal. I think that's really important. To me, that's a lot of where you start, and it helps you too, because hey, I want to put up an antenna. You'll immediately have if you find the right club, you'll have 8 people on a Saturday afternoon to help you put up your antennas and things like that. So I think you get some great benefit out of that as well.
Yeah, you're all gonna get like Leia in the chat right now because she's already commenting on the.
She better join.
She's been commenting, Josh.
She knows how to join the Discord. She can join the Discord and talk anytime she wants to, because she's now starting to differentiate the mission statement versus like the funds that don't go through the general funds, which is like the Teacher Institute. Institute is not off the general funds, for instance, right? That's
Leia just made the kids go to bed via YouTube comment. I'm pretty sure she can join the Discord.
She knows how to join the Discord.
She's a pretty smart gal.
By the way, Josh, a few minutes ago, our youth in here tried saying something to you. So
go ahead. Go ahead.
Quick comment. My call sign is Kilo Romeo 4 Echo Foxtrot Zulu, and my name is Jack, just so you know.
I got it. I wrote that down.
I just wanted you to know that I think I'm just a big fan of your channel.
Did you say that your name is Jack?
Yes.
But you go by Redstone Fred?
This is an older account of mine.
Well, I mean, that's still not your name, right?
This is just an old account of mine.
Yeah, but it's still not your name, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us, Jack. I appreciate that. We're going to continue talking about some stuff, so hang out, I guess.
He's had the account since 23. I just checked it. He's not lying.
So he said he's 17. So there you go.
On the youth side of it, without getting into what people's opinions are one way or the other on it, remotehamradio.com has they make the network available to anyone under, I think it's 25 for free.
No,
So
21.
Hi, moderator for that. Moderator for that is 21.
21 now. Okay, I thought Ray had it.
That was like 3 years ago they moved it.
Okay, thank you. So anyway, just a point that it's. Well, I mean, you guys know. I mean, I've been a member a while, but of the other one. But yeah. So I mean, I tell people who are young that about if they are looking to get on HF or at least experiment with that or see what that's all about. That's a way they can potentially do it as well to get on the air.
I do want to say to Tom though, but and everyone else basically, if it wasn't for the support of my club, it'd be a lot harder to do what I'm doing, because every single one of the guys in the club have stepped up and wanted to be a part of what I'm trying to put on. The other cool thing is with the ARRL Teachers Institute in Louisiana, we actually had a professor from the local college, McNeese State University, that's going to be setting up a club for his kids over there, or the adults over there. So it gives the students that come out of our region something to look forward to. So I know that they had it in the University of Lafayette, UL, but a lot of people kind of like to see their kids stay local if they can. That's all their choice. But having the opportunity to help set that club up as well is going to be another stepping stone, not just for localized activity, but just in general. Maybe someone comes from out of state and wants to join that club, they'll have the ability to still do amateur radio in college.
That's great. Yeah, I know the collegiate amateur radio clubs have been on fire. There's been so much activity with those. I know Dayton, they had quite a bit of stuff going on about that.
All right, I think we're gonna transition here to the next part.
Hey Josh, it's
Oh, Steve's here. What's up, man?
Hey, how are you? So look, I want to be the resident OM here for a minute.
Well, I think we got a number of them already. So
we have a few. I've been licensed since 1986, roughly, and one of the things that the ARRL is it's not a club, and I think that's something you have to keep in mind. I wasn't an ARRL member for years, but when I started to draw from the ARRL as a resource, I began to contribute. One of those things that you get as a perk when you contribute is a magazine.
Mm-hmm.
The ARRL has always been an advocate for the hobby. They are there for rule enforcement, spectrum preservation, all the things that keep us alive as a hobby. A lot of what they do is either behind the scenes or not widely communicated, but they are also a technical resource, and the documentation, the publications, the resources that they provide to us as a body are numerous. It's just like the RSGB. So when somebody says, "Oh, I need to become a member of the ARRL," yeah, if you draw from them, if you need to fight your HOA, if you need help with them as an advocate for a municipality that won't take care of an RFI issue, they are the big stick in your back pocket. They have the advocacy. They are their lobbyist group.
Yeah,
they're not a club. That's what your local club is for. Regardless of what you want to think of your local club, that's the idea, that your local club would be an ARRL member or use them as a resource for club materials, for licensing, et cetera, et cetera. That all happened at the local level. So, it's a level of expectation of what you need from the ARRL as a body. For me, they've been an invaluable resource for working with me on legal topics for a tower. They have been a fantastic resource for technical documentation. The ARRL handbook is available, reasonably priced, and should be on every amateur radio operator's desk the minute they sign.
Yep.
The minute they get a license, or even before, during the study, all the study materials, the stuff that they provide is far more than just a YouTube video that you might find randomly on YouTube. So I think what they provide and what the level of expectation may have changed over the years, but they've always been, it's a resource, it's an advocacy. It's not a club. I think that's part of what I'm hearing is that there's an expectation that's like, oh, well, they should do events, et cetera. That's great.
I think you're right.
Your local group does.
Do you get many people that think the ARRL is a club? I don't. Do you?
I just don't either. Just from the comments that I've been listening to.
I see. Okay.
I think in the newer generation of hams, I think look at the ARRL as if it was a large club-like organization, and it's not. It's not. It's a governing body. It's a lobbyist. They are a lobbyist group for us.
I mean, that's the best case snenario, right? I mean, that's what we hope for. I think
that has always been the case for us. So, as an example, way back when, years ago. There was an issue. Actually, Ed Hare could probably comment on this because he published the document to GM, where GM was voiding. They were voiding warranties for amateur radio operators that installed amateur gear in GM vehicles. And the minute something went wrong, the dealer would say, "Oh, you put a ham radio in here, so your warranty is void."
Right.
And they went to town. They went to bat for us on that.
Yeah, I would love that. Yeah. Good. That's a good point. Yeah, that is a good point. Well, thank you, Steve, for adding that.
Well said. I was going to add one more thing, and that is, to me, I take a view that if you're if you're an electrical engineer, you join the IEEE. If you're a programmer, you join the ACM. If you're a ham, you join the ARRL. That's a narrow view of it.
That's a funny point.
It was always drilled in me.
As a dyed-in-the-wool black and white engineer, that would definitely be the answer. That is true. Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, my wife is taking issue with what you said, Steve. She said, a governing body? I'm not sure hams want to hear that they answer to the ARRL. I don't think that's Steve's point.
That is regulated by the Federal Communications Commission.
That derives its power from a set of international treatises.
Yeah, that's the FCC part of it, not specifically the ARRL. They're not enforcing anything.
No, the they are.
They're a technically government.
Take that, Leia. Take that, Leia.
They're an advocacy group and a technical governing body. They are not the governing body.
Yeah.
The governing body is the FCC Commission.
Right. If you want to sit at the big boy table, you need somebody like the ARRL to do that for you.
Well, but them as a VEC, they are effectively a governing body in that capacity.
Our own self-governing, yes, we are our own self-governing body.
I love it. Okay. All right. I have to turn this around a little bit.
IARU.
This is a fantastic discussion, but I have to turn this around a little bit because I have Chick-fil-A that I have to eat here shortly, and we're already past time. So I got to start going through saying hi to some of the YouTubers that are here. We're going to go down the list that I got. So, Andrew, the Brocam, you are first. Are you here, man?
Oh, my God. I'm right in the middle of riding the dunes in Arrakis, man. I was not expecting to be called on so quickly.
Are you all wrapped up in the spice? Your eyes are blue? Like, what are we talking about?
My eyes are
you
so
cannot
blue,
get me started on talking about. So there's two
know.
things you don't want to get me started talking about. It's Dune and Warhammer 40K. So where are we going here, bud?
Nerd alert.
Yeah, I'm trying to be productive in ham radio, but then Dune Awakening came out, so I'm
I haven't started it. I haven't started it yet. Don't tell me anything about it.
No. Yeah, it's pretty fun. Neat what they did. But yeah, it's good stuff. Ham radio wise, I got some new antenna or two coming that I'm going to be testing and doing a couple videos on. So that's about it for me. I found a POTA that's close to my work, so I'm going to be going on that over my lunch breaks.
There you
Dude,
go.
lunch break POTAs are where it's at.
Yeah, that's awesome. So
BattleTech is better.
You shut your mouth with BattleTech. BattleTech's great, but there's no way the lore is as deep as Dune and 40K. Shut your mouth when you're talking to me. That's crazy.
We also have 1 million books.
Between both of them, well, 40K has so many books. It's crazy. All right, so we got a super chat. ARRL needs to open up 20 and 40 meters to techs. First of all, the ARRL does not control that. That is the FCC, but really it's the ITU, which creates the agreements that we have internationally, because your radio frequencies go beyond country borders. I don't know if you knew this, but when you transmit, your signals go beyond your country, particularly on HF, particularly on 10 meters or 20 meters or whatever you're operating on. So yes, I agree, though, that technicians should have a little bit of a taste. They need a Costco sampler of 20 meters or... Oh, Jesus.
They can do CW on
Levi,
40 meters
hear me
and
out, hear me out.
15 meters and 80 meters.
Hear me out, Levi. Like, what a great conversation to have with a new person that like joined you. They're like, I just got my technician license. I'm so happy. And then you look at them and you're like, you should just immediately upgrade to general because that's where all the cool kids are.
That's what I did.
I know that's what you did. I know that, but that conversation sucks. I've had that conversation with people. It sucks.
Well, we should just get rid of techs and just make a combo license class. Move to a
no. You
novice
should
and
just
full
give
license.
a little. You should just get a little bit of taste of the techs.
No participation trophies.
Hold on, hear me out. Hear me out. Can we give them 14,300?
Yes, yes, we give the techs
so much.
Yes,
we can give them 14,300 plus or minus 3 kilohertz in either direction. Yes,
sold.
And 7,200.
Sold. We're done. We solved all the problems. We solved all the problems in ham radio. There you go. You got it. Thank you for the super
they
chat.
need 14,313 too.
Here's an honest answer. Welcome to Ham Radio. We're glad you're here. It's awesome. Being a technician makes you better than most of the people in the world because you're a technician amateur class.
There you go.
Now, the next challenge is to learn just a little bit more and take that test to get your general, just like you did for tech. But now you already know some because you're a tech.
That's
so
right.
Getting your general is going to be just a little bit more easier. And holy gosh, when you talk to a guy on the other side of the world with a piece of wire that you strung up into a tree on HF, you are going to scream like a little girl because that's exactly what I did. My name is Mike K at MRD.
I love when I talked to a guy on the other side of the world. Mike K at MRD.
And I will back it up with, don't let anyone force or push you into it. Welcome to the hobby. And remember, getting the license is just a license to learn all the fun things you can.
I will add to this is like you're talking to a lot of people that had to like live with the trials and tribulations of getting 2 licenses before they could really get active on HF. So when you talk to people and they're like, well, we should just make technician easier on HF. I support you. I'm with you. I am one of you. But at the same time, yes, I am of the people that had to get 2 licenses before we got like active on HF. And so there's a lot of people like, well, I did it. Why can't you do it? Why can't you just go take the second test? Like, why is that a problem? I agree with those people, by the way. I do. I know where they're coming from, and I get it. Because we want you to know how to activate the radio and use it appropriately. And so when people are like, well, if I can use 10 meters, why can't? Because 10 meters is like CB on ham radio. 10 meters is great. 10 meters is great. But a lot of people on 10 meters are like CB operators. They really are. Levi, am I wrong?
What really is a good solution?
Kilo Charlie 4, Tango Victor Zulu.
Tango Victor Zulu.
Victor Zulu. You're 5'9" in Georgia. I don't work no strokes.
Yeah,
I hate
like
that dude.
like there's a lot of CB operators on 10 meters. Why? Because it's very adjacent to technician. That's true. That's just a straight up true state. The Beacon. Who said that? Yeah, the Beacon. Literally the Beacon. I have that guy in my log for POTA. He activated POTA. I think partially because of me. I'm just gonna say that. I don't know if that's true or not.
He does it because it's the only time his wife ever talks to him.
Because he dragged his wife out to do it. That's right. Okay, go ahead, Frank.
So here's a hot take, and then let's go back to Andrew because we sort of jumped off ship here.
Okay, we're all off ship.
Billy, did we ever?
I don't think he has ever stepped foot in a POTA park, and there are some POTA staff members that agree with that. And well,
good,
yeah.
ban him immediately, tar and feather him. Ham radio, ham radio pillory. Put him in the ham radio pillory.
Asking this question doesn't even know what POTA is yet. We gotta go.
Hit him with the cat of Cat 5 cables.
Hit him with the hind.
I'll say this about him. He tried to work me when I was using a club call on a POTA one time, and as disgusting as he was to me on 10 meters one time, I played the same role he did. I acted like I didn't hear him. He went from an S5 to an S9, so he turned some power up, and I ignored him even harder, and it was the best day ever, knowing that he was not going to get into the logs.
I was straight up in California. I didn't do anything different on 50 watts with a good antenna, and he was like, "You got a good signal out here, buddy. What are you transmitting on?" And I was like, "A big ass wire, bud. What are you transmitting on?" Like, that was all we did, and that's I don't know. I get it. He's an asshole. I get it, but ham harder. Mike, right, Mike? Right, Mike? Are we hamming harder?
You're gosh darn right. I was hamming harder this morning. I got rained out today.
Did you get out there? Yeah, you were saying that. Did you get out there like with the solar storm and everything? You activate? Did you do that?
Well, this was this morning. I mean, it was. We made 18 contacts in, I don't know, just screwing around let's say a half hour maybe. But it maybe call it an hour actually, because it was raining, but it was like night. It was not raining, and then it was sprinkling, and then it was not sprinkling, and then it was sprinkling. So it was like, yeah. But I got out, so that's all that matters.
There you go.
So a fun take on that, and then seriously, let's go back to Andrew.
Okay.
TVZ will have his wife call in and then go stand by for second operator. So if you have his wife's call sign, put it on your NIL list. Because they're a special type of people.
I had him at Support Your Parks weekend when I was out there, and on the video that I put out, and you can see me look straight at the camera and go, nope.
I have gotten called out by Rhea in my ARRL voice. Thank you, Rhea, for calling me out.
I sent that to you.
I just pulled up your DM.
Yep.
I don't think she even looked at the video. I don't think she even looked at what we're talking about. There is multiple people here. I am not alone. We all added our feedback. She didn't watch a second of this. Rhea, do better. If you're watching this ever, I don't know that you will, but do better.
Damn.
That's all I gotta say about that. Rhea. By the way, Rhea, I'm with you, man. I respect you. We're friends. I have no issue with you, but the fact you come swinging, now this is the second time you swung at me. This is swing 2. That's all I gotta say about that.
Not me.
There you go. All right, I'll reply to Rhea after this show. Who's next? Let's see. Let's go down the list. Oh boy. Wow, Rhea is battling for Dick Norton. That's crazy. Next, wait. No, did we get Chris?
Are we done with Brocam, Andrew?
Oh yeah, you guys are good.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't got much going on. Just Dune and
right.
New antennas.
All right, Chris, technology. You're next. How's it going, man?
It's going all right. Enjoying the excellent commentary.
Complete chaos that we have going on right now.
Oh, anarchy. Fantastic. I think we should all figure out a way to partner with ARRL and create content to the kids. TikTok, Instagram,
yeah, sure.
Wherever they are. Like what? Like that's what we should be doing, and doing it with an ARL voice. Because if that's the way we want to go, then that screw this dick guy.
Well, there you go. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. And next is Chris, Radio and Life. How's it going, man?
How's it going, guys? Yeah, I was able to test out 2 antennas this last weekend, and I'll be dropping videos for one of them this coming week. And this whole ARRL discussion has been a battle in my own head over the last year or so, and I still don't know which way to go. And I'll just keep listening to everybody's opinions and not try me mine in because, well, it's a hard discussion for me in my personal life because of other things going on that I want to make sure that are taken care of first before going into that deep dive. Yes, I do belong to an ARL club, but I'm not 100% on everything with the ARL right now. So you guys have a good night. I'm going to get my kiddos to bed because I've let them stay up way too late, and have fun.
Right on, man. Right on. All right. Well, I appreciate you hanging out. All right. Next down the list, I can't believe Rhea's coming at me. This is going to be a fun conversation. Next is Rob, Digital Rancher. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm great. Hey, I got no traffic tonight. Josh, go get your dinner, man. Go get something to eat.
No, we're good. We're good. We're hanging out right now. We're hanging out. Oh, buddy. What's going on in the world of satellites? Because you got to be getting ready for field day. Are you the satellite guy?
Oh yeah, I'll be working. Trying to get that satellite contact for field day. That's always it's always the toughest contact of the year. Yeah, it's always a madhouse, but I think I will try to capture that and share that with everybody this year, just to see how zany it is. It is kind of wild.
Okay, right on. Well, I mean, please do share it. We want to see the videos of that. So appreciate you hanging out. Next is...
I've enjoyed the conversation. Thanks.
Thank you, buddy. And your feedback, too, that we got earlier. So appreciate that. Next is Frank, actually. Frank, YouTube. Ham Radio and Outdoors. How's it going, man?
Ham Radio Wilderness.
Oh, that's
I'm not
right.
outdoor.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not quite outdoor. Well,
it's
yeah, kinda. Yeah. Okay. Kinda. Okay. Yeah. A little bit. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm upgrading my thumbnails even more, as you can see there. Made the NorCal SwapNet just one standard thumbnail instead of a different version of it every week. But that happens every Thursday at 8 p.m. Pacific, 10 Central. I am now running the NorCal SwapNet until the main net control guy, who's been doing it for the last 26 or 7 years now, gets fully healed up, and we'll see what happens from there. So not only am I running it to YouTube, I am running the actual net, and I may or may not get jammed out each week on the repeater. So come on by and say hi and see what happens. I also have CQ Chit Chat. We just actually had one last night. We discussed Field Day 2025 and what our plans were, and there were a bunch of different squirrels during the conversation, but it was lots of fun. I had Chris Radio and Life, Jeff K3JRZ, Mark from Boondock Echo came in, and
did I hear Boondock Echo?
Yeah, yeah, Boondock Echo. Okay, and a few others, Prep Him Paul, and it was a lot of fun. My next one will be on the 27th. We'll see how that works out. It might be a live in the field CQ Chit Chat, and then I'm thinking of changing my Q&A name, because so the first Friday of each month I have a Q&A, and I'm thinking of changing the name from just a Q&A session to maybe Fridays with Frank. we'll see what happens with that. But that's about it for me, Josh. And I'm having lots of fun. And send me that link. I'm interested to see what Rhea had to say.
Oh yeah, Levi, just post it. Go ahead, post it. Post Levi's or Rhea's hot takes on my ARRL voice. By the way, this is the most Isley Cantina of people upset at the ARRL. This is the Hive.
It's in live stream chat.
Oh,
go ahead.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Go ahead.
The YouTube algorithm.
Go ahead.
Congratulations.
Everybody who commented on this video, feel free to join my ARRL voice and comment on Rhea's post. I will be commenting after this live stream. By the way, I still look at Rhea as a friend. I hope she looks at me as a friend. I have now, again, 2 strikes. Like, we're rocking on 2 strikes now. I don't know why she's coming at me, but here we go. So here we go again. I got a super chat.
I will just say this, and then I'll let you move on from here. You're not the only one. You're
not
the only one.
Know. I know. So got a super chat. So what's keeping me from transmitting on 14.300? They'd the Wild West of ham if I can get it without having to say my call, and any unlicensed can have free game. Wow, English is fundamental. So, I guess you can transmit on 14.300, but the problem is that you don't have a call sign. So, I don't know what you're doing. Like, I guess you can. I don't know what's really going to happen. What is it, the FAFO? FAFO to you, bud. I don't know. But why? Like, what do you get out of that? There's people that are doing something. They're trying to, at least what they write as in their goal is the maritime mobile net. They're trying to help people that are off coast if they are in situations where they might be in a disaster or whatever. So why would we mess with that? If you want to screw around on like 14313, that's a frequency you can look up. I guess what always pisses me off is, why is it the emergency like responders that are ones people want to F with? That doesn't make any sense to me. The people on 14.300, I get that people don't like that they hold that frequency, but they're literally trying to help out people that could be in an emergency situation. Why would we mess with them? There's so much space on 20 meters. Move around. It's fine. It's not that big a deal. It's really not. I don't know why. I don't know why we get so frustrated about 14.300, to be honest with you.
It's like the YL system.
Well,
do you want?
Wait, are we gonna cue Mike on the YL net? Is it starting now? I don't know.
Oh no! Let's not go there. Tim and I both been back and forth with this one. I'll let Tim take it since he's the next one. But we've been both back and forth about YL.
A minute, blow your roll there, Frank. I had one thing to comment on your thing there.
No.
On your NorCal swap nets, you mentioned you're going to leave the thumbnail static. 100% do not do that. Make a new thumbnail, a new interesting thumbnail for each new video. When I first started doing Mailbag Monday, each thumbnail was exactly the same. And it was stupid, so I started making them different.
Perfect. Thank you for the advice, Mike. I'm going to take that because I had been doing that, and then I was told, oh no, if it's going to be a weekly thing, a weekly live stream, make it a static thumbnail so that people always know. So, thank you.
Let me add, as I'm just, because Josh has it up on the stream here, it looks like NorCal SwapNet in front of a bunch of porta potties. Pick a better picture. Do better.
Gotcha. We'll do better next week.
There you go. Put that in front of a bunch of boat anchors. That's what we all want to see. We want some big old boat anchors.
Yeah, you don't want to know what was listed last week, or no, the week before on the swap.
Was it literally a boat anchor?
Maybe. Let's see here. Can I hold on?
All right, I'm gonna go to Tim Grayman Poda next. How's it going, man?
Dude, I'm trying to catch up on my sleep, coming back from Pacific time to Eastern time. But
yeah,
other than that, doing good. I went out to your fair land of Southern California and tried to do a couple POTUS and got a couple activations in the books, but unfortunately I had to switch over to FT8, so not much video
Switching to guns.
content
Switching
there.
to guns on the FT8.
I had to switch. Had to switch to guns, but no, it was great. Had a great time. I was there. For a conference, so only got Sunday to really activate, but otherwise it was a good time. So back home, I will be live streaming here in about 8 hours myself from the park, doing my POTA from the park on Sunday mornings.
There you go.
Otherwise, I have no traffic.
No traffic for the net. Okay, appreciate that. All right, next is, let's see, who's next? Mike, Ham Radio Tube. What's going on, man? Where'd Mike go? Is he still there?
I was trying. I was typing. I was trying to make a quirky comment to one Jody VE5 SAR in the comments, but I had to switch the mouse over to this monitor and turn the mic on. So some kind of whole lot of rosy comment, Jody. There you go. Suck it.
Okay.
What's going on, man?
Dude, I don't know. Now that I apparently have Facebook beef that I have to deal with after I end this, so I'll start working on that immediately after the live stream. But how you doing? Do you have beef you have to deal with right now?
Nobody wants to hear about it. Everybody's got problems, you know. I've had I didn't mention it last week. I've just been out of commission. Achilles tendonitis because if gout and bunions aren't enough to keep me immobilized, now we have, for the second time, Achilles tendonitis. So I haven't been really, walking or standing for the last week. Actually, it's been about 8 or 9 days.
You have like old world diseases. This is the thing.
My body
my
hates me, Josh.
Would be upset about.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
My body hates me. So.
Yeah,
it is what it is. I'm getting better.
I think the chat. I think what's your vitamin C intake look like these days? Do you have scurvy by chance?
Sure, bring it on. Probably, maybe. I don't know.
No, this is 80 meters.
Yeah, it's fully 80 meters right now. But Mike, what do you got going on? So we're in the world. Nothing.
Literally nothing. I have been bedridden or couch-ridden for the last 8 days. I did today finally wake up. Today when I woke up this morning and I put my feet on the ground next to the bed, I felt almost zero pain. Then I stood up and I was like, okay. Yesterday was the first day that I didn't take pain meds until the evening. And today I took some, we're just ibuprofen. I'm not a big pain med guy. But yeah, so that's why I haven't been putting out videos. I'm just in excruciating pain. So, but I went out today, a guy named Bill, what's his call? Whiskey 2 Alpha Lima Bravo. He emailed me a few days ago. He's like, hey, I'm in town. He's from New York. Love to meet up with you, do the whole POTA thing, So we did that today. But then we went out and we got set up. We got out there, I don't know, 9:20, 9:30 this morning. Set up the NFED, got on the air. Actually made a couple 40-meter QSOs today because it was early. 40 was still kind of open. So we made 3 on 40 and actually got out pretty good for the limited time we had. But it was like sprinkling and raining, and then it was clear, and then it was like it would rain enough to be like, all right, we got to put the stuff away. And then by the time you put the stuff away, it stopped raining. It's like, all right, well, let's put it back up. Like, you put the radio away, the coax, the antenna.
He's like, go home, Mike, go home.
It wasn't a go home thing, but then after like the third time that happened, we're like, all right, screw it, let's just call it. It might have been like 11 by then. It was a little before 11. Then we went to lunch. And that was it. So that was my day. But I was like, so this guy emailed me I guess the whole point of the story is I've been like friggin' bedridden this entire week, I'm like, dude, some rando is in town emailing me wanting to hang out, and I'm so desperate to get out of the house. So I did.
Come get
but it was
me.
great. But it was great. But no,
Okay,
it was
good.
awesome. He was
That's nice.
He was a really nice person to meet, and he had already done POTA before. It was like I didn't have to teach him anything. He just wanted to meet me and hang out. It's freaking great.
That's
awesome.
cool.
And then
That's
we
cool.
ate barbecue, and I went home.
Are you walking better, or are we?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
It's basically my left leg, like my foot kind of has to stick out like 45 degrees. Like, you know how you walk straight and your feet are just kind of pointed in the direction you're going? Well, my right foot is. My left foot is not so much. It's just it sucks, but we're getting better. So
yeah.
Well, so Josh, slight change to the list, just FYI.
Okay, slight change. Okay, we're trying to roll through here. So,
well, we only have one left, so.
Oh, only one. Okay.
Yeah, it changed.
Well, who is it? Who's the next then?
It's Boondock Echo.
Boondock Echo.
I heard Boondock Echo, but what I didn't hear this time was Mike saying, "Can you do that for me, buddy? Do you have it in you?"
It hurts too much. What did you want?
Well, the last time we did that joke, you groaned, and I missed it.
Oh, dude, no, I'm not about to stand up right now.
All right. Hey, I do hope you feel better. Pain sucks. I really do. So good luck with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that does suck.
All right. Been a fun week. We were on temporary offline on Monday.
Nice.
And we're going to be back on temporary offline this Monday, telling you how you can get started in the Boondock Echo world for about $20. With receive only, but you can get started. So join us if you're up for it. I think there's streams like 5 o'clock Pacific. I'm not entirely sure.
Yes, 5 Pacific, Mark.
I was on Frank's the SwapNet again in the comment section, just raising heck. That was a lot of fun. And then I joined him on Friday for his chit chat, and that was a lot of fun. So I'm working on some content for everybody. I've got a quick deploy inverted Delta antenna, and I'm finalizing the design for a coaxial balun that'll fit right on a mast. So that'll be fun too. So we've got some content that I'm lining up, and some places will appear, and yeah, that's about it.
Hey Josh, just don't open your messages on Facebook right now. That would be all bad because you're still sharing your screen to Discord.
Oh, am I the big screen? No, I'm trying to get there so I can share it. I don't care. I don't care if people. I literally have nothing to hide. We're gonna go into my ARRL voice here in a little bit. So yeah. Oh, that's the wrong thing. I hate Facebook, by the way. I hate it. I hate it so much. It is not a good place to be for creators. All right, here we go. So we're gonna go to my ARRL voice. Yeah, buddy. Here we go. We're going in. Oh, I'm there. Thank you, Rhea. All right, hold on. So let's get Oh, because we're doing this. No, we're gonna do it this way. Yeah, there you go. All right, so my ARRL voice is the Mos Eisley's Cantina of people that are upset about the ARRL. Which, by the way, a lot of people have justified opinions about the ARRL. I'm not taking anything away about that, but it's like the broken toys, like club. Like it's all people who are pissed off about the ARRL. So, listen. All I gotta say, I will say this because I really don't want to type it out, so I'm replying to Rhea directly. Rhea, you got a channel. Reply to the arguments of not just me, but everybody that commented on this live stream. Reply them directly. Provide numbers. Don't just reply. Citation is needed. The problem with Dick is he's got lots of numbers and he makes lots of claims, but he doesn't back it up with anything. So citation is needed. You told me to stay in my lane before, but now you're messing with Teachers Institute, so I'm gonna say something. So that's where I'm at.
Well, you notice she says that she's not going to waste her time debunking each one.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, don't then. But wow, so cute. Not going to waste my time debunking anything, but I'm just going to post how I'm not going to debunk anything, and then you all look at it. So let's see what we got. 5 comments so far. Let's see what we got. I'm watching now.
Isn't that kind of the exact same thing that Dick said?
Oh, literally, Frank is in the chat.
Debunk anything.
Literally, Frank is in the chat.
Right?
Dom's there too. Literally, this is like half of HRCC. Like, is it right in here? Too busy with radio and life to pay attention to stuff anymore. Hey, respect, dude, respect. And then Rhea replied, same here. Honestly, it's circling the drain. Nothing we can do. What a doomer mentality. Wow, so sad. What a doomer mentality. We have literally proven that what Steve is doing is working. That's all you have to know. I don't know what to do more than that. Like, when I point out stuff that Dick is wrong, it's because Dick's not up to date on current news. Like, that's it. There's nothing against Dick other than, like, I think his engineering practices need a little bit of update. I know he's an engineer. He needs to improve on that. He knows better. He knows better. Rhea, you know he knows better. You're an engineer too. At least I know you're in like heavy tech. So please, you cannot. Okay, you cannot start throwing out aspersions without actual evidence. That's Dick's game. That's his whole game. That's all he. Literally me looking at me saying that's all Dick's game is casting aspersions with no evidence. Dick, if you want to provide evidence, I'll share it. There you go. And as an engineer, I am going to be honest and show it. So there you go. I will not, I have no ego in this. I don't really care. I just want the right information for people going out. So there's my open. So for everybody on the My ARRL voice, everybody else, if Dick wants an open platform to show the evidence, and I want to see the evidence beforehand, I don't want just a PowerPoint slide where he gets to spew platitudes. I want to see actual evidence and names to go along with it. And he's like, oh, I'm going to say names. That's exactly the problem. If you think the ARRL is a problem, the fact he's unwilling to say names of the people that are the problem is only perpetuating the problem. So that's all I got to say about that.
Say names, Dick. Don't be a dick.
That's it. Like, seriously. Dick, I hope you understand. I came at you, but at the same time, every time we talked, completely open and honest. I've not held anything back. I'll give you open mic time. But you got to bring evidence, man. Citation needed. Claims need answers, man.
So I will say this, Josh. I'm not going to put it out there in the Discord, but I just sent you something. It'll be interesting come August. Even before the votes happen, he may not be ARRL anymore.
I don't know what that means. Frank, again, I just got done saying, like, we're not going to hold anything back. I'm not going to pretend, what is the thing? What is the thing, Frank? Go ahead.
His license expires in August.
He'll fix it. He'll fix it. He's fine.
Yeah, we'll see.
Years.
We'll see.
I like how
you've got 2 years after expiration, so I'm sure he will go oh crap, I need to do that, and it takes 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's fine. Dick's good.
I know.
I'm not questioning Dick's ability as a ham radio operator. I'm questioning Dick's ability as a director. And again, that goes back to, where's my guy? Where is he? Nope, that's not him.
Ned.
What happened here? I lost everything. I'm going to go through the whole thing until we find it. Apparently. Wait. Hold on. Oh, yeah, it's totally a different tab. Yeah, that's why. Geez, it's like I've never done a live stream before, guys. It's like
never. And of course, Jody was late, but he still dropped a hot banger of a meme shirt in the chat.
All fine. Oh, geez. Crazy. All right, well, you guys keep talking.
Jody, you can do better. That's lame.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, Mike, for joining late and being MIA for the last 2 days.
Jody's been here for like an hour.
Well, okay, he's been MIA for the last 2 days, so.
Not my problem. Jody's a quick guy. He gets zero sympathy from me. And that's out of love, not out of hate. And he knows that.
He only gets like 0.025% of love from me, so.
Oh, come on. Okay, fine. Jeez. I'm going to make me go the long way. All right. So hold on. Here we go. So again, I'm going to say Dick Norton has been doing the job as the director for too long. So we're going to look up, it's Ned Stern. What's Ned Stern's call sign? Hold on. AA7A. So there you go. Again, a guy with an actual station that he posted on QRZ, working EME, working the HFs. That's not to say.
Do you know this guy? Have you talked to this guy?
I've talked to Ned before. But at the same time, I'm most willing to have anybody in there at this point. That's not it's actively undermining the work that the ARRL education is doing and the Teachers Institute. That's
So Dick's QRZ page doesn't have pictures of cool antennas and
Dick's page is
showing
empty.
any interest in amateur radio.
Dick's page is empty. He's not updated it at all. At all.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't either, but I also don't care about my QRZ.
And again, I'm not holding that against him. I'm not holding that against him. I think that would be childish and stupid to hold something.
I mean, how many lookups are there?
Okay.
On Ned's, or not Ned. This is Ned.
So Ned is.
Who cares about the other guy?
156,000 lookups.
Holy crap! What a great CW call, though, too.
So let's new tab. Where is that?
65.
Let's try.
65,645.
So N6AA with the complete empty QRZ, 65,000.
That's a better CW call, though.
N6AA, yeah, it's a better call.
Yeah. But this guy sucks. This is Dick. That's Dick's call.
My call sign, 181,600.
Nobody cares about your call. Go back to Dick.
Look at this guy over here.
Josh is like, I'm the most popular ham radio YouTuber in the world. Never gonna change my call sign to anything.
Rolling in my crapulence. No, yeah, but honestly, this is the way it should work. I get it. This is a live stream. Hey, Dick, I don't think you expected just somebody going through a completely different media format to campaign against you. AA7A has my vote in the Southwest region. I want everybody to vote for him to replace you. There you go.
What, as a YouTube community, I'm wondering now, like me, you, Jason, Smart Jason, like we could all just make videos being like, this dude in the Southwest Division of California.
We could,
because we all outside of California, like legit hate California.
Yeah.
And then there's this Dick that's trying to California ham radio in California. So let's just vote him out. And his name legit is Dick.
So, Mike, it gets even better. He's not just the representative of California. He's the Southwest Division, which also includes
Arizona's included. Yeah.
If we all collectively were like, just between Josh, Jason, Smart Jason, me, T.O., I mean, who else?
I
could make a video.
Don't vote for Dick.
I'm not completely sure on this, but I started the video saying that I think the reason that Steve can't make YouTube videos anymore is because of stuff that Dick Norton did. There is no reason that Steve, who does a full-time job at the ARRL, wants to take his free time and make YouTube videos. There's nothing wrong with that. There should be nothing stopping him from doing that.
Well, that's what I did, and that's what you do.
That's what I do. And the fact that someone that's a part of the director level board is preventing him from making contact that talks to the community, which he is a vital member, is insulting and upsetting. And part of the reason
that around as a conflict of interest.
Part of the reason this video existed.
This is the same ARRL that pushed Rhea out for writing a better technician study guidebook. They would most assuredly declare it to be messing with their right and conflict of interest.
Well, I mean, okay.
Territorial pissings.
Wait, hold on. There's a couple of different things going on there. Conflict of interest is a real thing. Like, so if they can draw a direct line to Steve making videos about him activating a park with Jerica, that's crazy, right?
Yeah,
but
I'm not saying it's not.
You understand?
I'm just saying
there's
that's
a difference.
What they would do. Yeah.
Well, okay. I can't. Okay. It makes me not be able to sleep at night if we think that these people are not sane people. It makes me crazy to think that we go to bed and these people are completely out of their heads crazy. I don't think Dick's crazy. I think Dick's doing something for his own reasons. I don't think Steve's crazy, obviously. And he has successes, which we support. We love what he's doing. And so we just have to figure out how to make them all work. I want them to work together, but it sounds like we're different right now. I'm just trying to figure out how to make it fit.
So Jody just made a very good point here. The greatest irony is Steve is the social media ambassador that highlights the efforts of others. You, Frank, who else? Both Jasons, one of the Jasons, Mike as well, in his QST articles, yet he can't do his own thing.
I don't. If the reason Steve can't make YouTube videos is because of something Dick Norton did, that only adds to my upsettiness about him being in that role for too long.
But that's a hypothetical unless you have
100%. 100%. I am. This is a total speculation. That is what I took away from the conversation I had with Steve. Is that he cannot do YouTube because of things that were enacted by Dick.
Well, those things should be open to the public anyhow. It shouldn't be a mystery.
Well, also true. Also completely true. So, yes, I agree. I think they might be, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Well, let's see. Let's refresh. Let's refresh the page. What are people saying about that?
I haven't seen any new comments yet.
The funny thing about that site is, other than Dave AA65Q commented a few times, and I mean, Dave can have his opinion. He writes fantastic software, but it's interesting because if you look down, other than about the first, this one and maybe 5 more things, the last reference was, I think 2000. What was it? 23 or something like that. Maybe even earlier. It was when that bylaw 46 came about. That's kind of when this whole thing started. I kind of seemed there was not a lot of posts since this, this one to Rhea did.
Oh God, I guess I'm going down this rabbit hole. So Rhea definitely had a situation with the ARRL. No question. How much conversation happened after that on both sides? Next to nothing. It was all just a smoke show on both sides. Like, there could have been more conversation had. And yes, I did watch a video where Rhea was talking about it. I want to reiterate that conversations that happen at a ham fest, when it comes to this kind of stuff, like Dick is posting, I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about every time it happens, because this is not cool anymore. This concept of like this, I don't want to say cabal, because I think that's like nefarious. I don't think it's really nefarious. But that like people think that they can just kind of do things on the side and nobody really knows about it, and they can just like throw information out with not being checked. I don't think that's cool anymore. If you're going to mess with the Teachers Institute or ARRL education, I'm going to talk about it. I know there's multiple people that will talk about it too, and that, I mean, I think that's where we lie right now. Show me where I'm wrong. And by the way, completely open and honest, show me where I'm wrong. I'm coming at you hot, Dick. I'm coming at you hot. But, like, show me where I'm wrong. Give me links. Give me information. Give me evidence. Let's talk about it. But I don't think I'm wrong. I think you're doing this for whatever reason you're doing it. I'm not going to assume, because that's not my job. That's not my profession. Different whole game there. So that's it. I don't know. I think that's all I got this week. I think I'm done.
Enjoy your dinner.
Yeah. Are we? I think we got through everybody. We got through everybody.
Yeah. We got through everybody.
All right. Any passing thoughts? Because we got field day coming up. Anything anybody got to get out before we wrap up for the weekend here?
I'll make this one easy to make a nice big bow on this package here for you, Josh. Hashtag vote Dick out.
Hashtag vote Dick out. There you go. Ned Stearns. That's what we want.
Dick's out to vote.
Dick's out. Jesus, Levi.
Jeez.
Okay, thanks, Levi, for your contribution to the after chat. All right, everybody on the Discord, thank you so much. Again, every week we're out here, and we'll talk about things like this. If it comes up again next week, then we'll talk about it too. Maybe the comments on the Facebook will be worthy enough for us to talk about. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you on the Discord. Thanks for hanging out with us, and I'll talk to you later, 73.
We'll see you next week, Josh.
See ya. Yeah, what's kind of crazy, I'm gonna tell you a story about my world of ham radio. So Rhea has been a person in ham radio before I was a person in ham radio, and lots of people are like known people in ham radio before people all of a sudden had to pay attention to me, and it's by and large because of my YouTube channel. I accelerated past many people in YouTube, and all of a sudden people had to like acknowledge me, I guess. Had to is probably the wrong term, but just did. And it's a really weird place to be, where you start out like this, like, I'm just going to make some videos about talking about antennas and bow fangs and all that stuff, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, you are above a lot of people. It's a really weird feeling. But at the same time, it's like all those people that I talked about before, like Rhea included, like they know about the internal struggles and the drama, and there's a lot of drama. There's a lot of drama. Again, I look at Rhea as a friend. Like, it's so much drama that goes into a lot of this stuff that me as an outsider, even at like 2018, when I turned my channel around to just be amateur radio focused, and I started going to all the shows and all that stuff, I'm still a newbie when it comes to a lot of stuff. And all this drama, like the further I get older and like more engaged with more people in the hobby, I'm finding that myself I am drawn into more situations where people are upsetty about things that don't even matter. Like, they don't even matter that much. And then I'm like capitulated to be involved in it because it's like I know who this person is and they're calling me out and all this stuff. Like, is Dick being the director really that important? No. Have we already proven through his own words that he's not really up to task for the job? Probably. So let another person in. That's the way I look at it. So, yeah. Oh, lots of people talking about, apparently more people talking about the Facebook page. So I'm going to hop off. Maybe I'll reply on it. Maybe we'll go live again and we'll just react live. Maybe that will be my Father's Day tomorrow, is reacting live to the people commenting on me, literally responding with a chat, listening to Dick's statements. You cannot be more internet generation than what I did. Anyway, good night, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend. Happy Father's Day to the fathers. Much respect. I'm one of them. I will be enjoying my weekend, or the rest of my weekend, tomorrow. 73. Play that song.